to help our neighbors in need overcome challenges and build a brighter future. Through funded programs and direct services, United Way helps meet families' essential needs, such as healthy food, safe and stable housing, healthcare, and more. If you'd like more information on how to get involved and support United Way, go to unitedwaymidlands.org.
It's the most time-honored tradition to start the weekend, grabbing a cold one from a local Nebraska brewery. Let's be real here. It's hot outside, and you don't want to drink the same boring beer as those Hawkeye fans. Drink icy cold, Nebraska-brewed beers, cider, or seltzers instead. Each week, we're putting the spotlight on a unique Nebraska brewery with One Beer Friday. Share your brew on social media with the hashtag One Beer Friday, and you'll be entered to win a $25 gift card to a local Nebraska brewery. Nebraska is the good life with great beer. Click nebraska.beer to learn more.
Wesley Financial Group is not a law firm.
This story is called The Ugly Truth About Timeshare. If you think you've done your family a favor by buying a timeshare, you need my help. Hello, I'm Chuck McDowell, CEO and founder of Wesley Financial Group. 10 years ago, I started helping folks cancel their timeshare. And in the process, started what's now called the timeshare cancellation industry. Timeshare is the only thing that you can buy that you can't tell me how much it's going to cost or when it's going to end. When you buy a timeshare, you give them a blank check to fill out any amount they want for annual maintenance and assessment fees. The crazy thing is, this never ends. Even when you die, your family's now going to be stuck with this burden. Stop the insanity today. Call my office now. If we take you as a client, I guarantee we'll cancel your timeshare or you'll pay nothing.
Call for your free information kit. 800-462-3333. That's 800-462-3333. 800-462-3333.
Lowe's knows how to save pros time and money. Right now, get 10% off all kitchen cabinet orders of $1,000 or more. Plus, MVP's Pro Rewards members earn double the bonus points on select stock cabinets through August 4th. Lowe's knows savings. Lowe's knows pros. Must ask cashier to apply discount barcode at time of purchase. Discount on cabinet purchase only. Coupon cannot be used with any other discount. Valid 7/27 through 8/9. Bonus points calculated before taxes and fees after applicable discounts, if any.
0.05 seconds. That's how long it takes users to form an opinion about a website. If you're unsure that your website meets today's standards, go to jmonline.com and book a call with an expert today. At JM Online, we redesigned our own website last year, a project that has already delivered us a positive ROI. From advanced micro interactions to a beautiful mobile design, check out what we're capable of at jmonline.com.
Prescriptions require an online consultation with a healthcare provider who will determine if appropriate. Restrictions apply. See website for details and important safety information. Subscription required. Price varies based on product and subscription plan.
Hey guys, did you know there's a generic form of Viagra that works just the same, but is 95% cheaper? And you can get it online? Just go to 4hims.com/radio. Through Hims, you'll get a free medical consultation, discreet shipping if prescribed, a 100% online process, and trusted generic alternatives to the name brands at up to 95% off. That's right. Get generic for Viagra, the same active ingredient as brand name Viagra, but for 95% less. It's the same medication, still prescribed by a licensed medical provider, but with zero copay, no expensive appointments, and no awkward face-to-face conversations. To start your free online visit, you need to go to this exclusive address, 4hims.com/radio. That's 4hims.com/radio for your free online visit. FORHIMS.com/RADIO.
Make the right call, fans. The Rooferees at John Higgins Weather Guard.
Rooferees. 1620 The Zone.
Here's the pitch to Bellinger. Swinging a line drive, right field, base hit. The Cubs are going to take the lead. Fraley gets it back in. Coming in to score, Nico Horner. Ian Happ goes to third. Run scoring single, Cody Bellinger. Cubs lead 2-1.
Now Bobby Witt Jr. bats with the bases empty. The pitch. Fastball crushed deep to straightaway center. Ortega sprints back at the fence, leaps, it's gone! Bobby Witt Jr. hits a solo home run. His 19th homer of the season. First pitch to Drew Waters. He hammers it down the right field line. Hooking toward the corner. It's out of here! 3-run homer, Drew Waters. And it's a bigger lead in a blink of an eye. From up 3-0, now to 6-0.
Live from 50th and Capitol Avenue in the Big O. This is Mornings with Sharp and Handley on 1620 The Zone, 1620thezone.com, and 1620 The Zone TV. Now here's Gary, Nick, and Jimmy.
I just got three things to say. God bless our troops. God bless America. And gentlemen, start your engine!
You know, I was already having a good day. Like, this is a feel-good Friday. I had some Dua Lipa was blasting. Windows were rolled down. The guy on 63rd who was jogging and had to stop when I was at the stop sign kind of looked at me awkwardly because I was just jamming to some Dua. And then I drove by Elmwood Park, and you can see, like, the sun is coming up and there's dew on the course. And then we get a little Jake Eisenberg. My boys.
Yes.
This is going to be a good Friday. Welcome in, everybody, to Mornings with Sharp and Handley. Jimmy here as well. Jake Eisenberg.
Hottest team in baseball.
Hey, you know, the team that plays on the north side of Chicago. They won 13-16.
Yeah, like 5 runs. That's all? 5 runs?
Hey.
What?
Hey. You like to hang in the muck. I like to hang in the heavens. We scored 145. Yeah, I said we. We scored 145 runs since the All-Star break. That would be the best in baseball. Bam! Bam!
You know what?
Dansby Swanson. Bam!
Try getting shut out twice in 10 games.
I don't have time for your problems.
And no hit.
Okay.
Don't forget the
Jimmy
no-hit.
and Jimmy and my team, we're fine.
I'm just bringing. I want to try to bring. I'm trying to humble everybody, bring everybody down to an even keeled level.
No. You can do that on Monday.
But on a serious, because this is a feel good Friday.
Yeah, it's pink outside.
Get the heck out. If you're not going to feel good today, you got to get the heck out. Anybody that's in the listening audience, you're not going to feel good today, get the heck out.
I'm marveling at the sky. It's like pink.
Beautiful day. It's just going to be an awesome day. This is going to be really, really good. I mean, who's not excited for 24 hours of Nebraska programming on the Big Ten Network?
Yeah. Yeah.
And of course, somebody turned the TV off.
That TV's been off since we got off the air yesterday.
See if it'll turn back on.
Yeah.
Is
it this one?
No.
I like Nebraska Day on the Big Ten Network.
Yeah, I don't know. I just it shut off
You might
yesterday.
have to reach over there, Jimmy, and turn it on manually, which is great for radio because no one can see what we're doing.
I don't know if we got a surge or something yesterday, but that thing just went out yesterday. Oh, yeah. You guys don't remember, like about a half hour to go in the show yesterday. It just went out. And
do we have to say goodbye to that TV? That TV is.
It looks like it looks like an old computer monitor.
Well, it is. It is. We've had to make some adjustments around here over the years. We change on the fly. So that's what we do. But on a serious note about the Royals. So the Royals have been fodder. I mean, they're now on a pace to win 50 games.
Yeah.
Which when you play 162 doesn't really balance out real well. But how about Bobby Witt Jr.?
Mm-hmm.
So the Mets are bad, and it's even worse when you get beat by the second worst team in baseball in the Royals, and you get swept and you get outscored 20-8.
Yep.
And the Royals have looked good. I mean, they swept the Twins, now they swept the Mets, now they go on the road. But Bobby Witt Jr. quietly, who had a monster homestand, he is going to be a 20-30 guy again. In a year which, again, the Royals are on pace to win about 50 games, Bobby Witt Jr. is going to be a 20-30 guy again. It took him a while to get warmed up, but man, did he have a heck of a series. So there you go, Jake Eisenberg. Jake's excited. Jake is the most excited guy for a team that is 33-79. Good on him in his first year as one of the radio voices, TV voices of the Royals. He's not like Denny. Denny and Lefevre hit August 1, and it's the dog days.
It's because they've seen it so damn much.
Jake is like, Bobby Witt Jr. I love it. This is great.
He's riding the I wouldn't even call it a roller coaster, but he's
fun.
capitalizing on the highs that this team can bring you to, especially Bobby Witt Jr., Brady Singer.
Young Jake, it's Christmas for him.
Yeah, you're right. Singer, who I thought was going to get traded. Yeah. Singer has pitched really well of late. There is hope in Kansas City. They're in a bad division. Could this happen? Could this
team to 81?
Could this be the best run ever for the Royals to make the playoffs?
48-2.
Will people in Kansas City not care about the Chiefs in September? It'll all be about the Royals.
Hey, you're 21 back.
Angel Zerpa comes in and shuts down the Twins in a key late September series. How many are they back?
21 back.
Okay, that was fun. That was fun for just a little bit.
Oh.
All right. Good Monday. Heck, good Friday morning, everybody.
Let's keep the weekend here.
Again, this is a big day in Lincoln. Because the Big Ten Network is there. They'll be live at 3 p.m. Have they always done live shows? thought it was always they put it in the can.
Yeah, they would put it in the can.
Maybe in the early days they did live shows, but
their guide says they are doing live today at 3:00.
Oh yeah, because
Good morning,
you
Coach
get
DiNardo.
the practice adjustments as well that we see some. In fact, later in practice, later in the fall camp, we're going to see some late night practices too, or evening practices. But yeah, usually it's canned. Usually you get the tweets by Dave Revson and Coach DiNardo and Howard, and then all of a sudden, hey, tune in later at 6 on BTN Live for our full experience.
Yeah, you know what? I'm glad that they're coming when the regular media, those of us boys and girls that cover Nebraska football on a daily basis, are not involved, because it created a little controversy the last couple of years when you were told not to live tweet at practice, and all of a sudden the BTN guys roll in and they are tweeting up a storm.
Mm-hmm.
So it's a non-media availability day, and so the Big Ten Network is there. I think they begin their programming maybe at 8, because if you tune in right now, you see the Ohio State-Purdue game, which was really good back in the Craig Krenzel, Maurice Clarett days.
Mm-hmm.
I think he got hurt in this game.
Clarett's got a bum shoulder there.
That was Holy Buckeye.
All right. But football is here. Did you guys watch last night? Did you watch the Hall of Fame game in Canton, Ohio?
I did. It hit the over.
I watched the first half.
Okay, so you went the first half. I watched the first couple of series. I might have watched all of the pregame, and then I watched the first quarter. How long did you last, Jimmy?
Quarter and a half.
Okay, so the Browns end up winning.
Yep.
I can't even tell you what the score is, but I do know that the total hit 37.
Yeah.
What did I tell you guys about 37 in exhibition games yesterday?
Yeah, it's 21-16?
That's really the only thing I was paying attention to.
Right on the number.
So you've corrupted me.
So 37 is the total, and the Jets didn't cover, which is I'm going to stop for the whole year. I'm not going to partake anymore. my gambling on football was over after August 3rd. But they had some issues. So the stadium, which they seem like they always have issues there. Remember the year they had to cancel it because of the turf?
Yep.
Oh yeah.
And they redid the stadium. I mean, it's essentially a high school stadium,
right,
which looks really, really nice.
Compared
I mean, they
to
have
what
put
it used to look
yeah,
like?
the NFL has put like a lot of money into it. The community has put a lot of money into it, and all the high schools, I believe, play there. So it looks like a really, really nice stadium. But man, do they have some issues? It seems like every year they host the Hall of Fame game. So the lights went out. So Aaron Rodgers felt right at home. And then
said, "Embrace this, folks."
And then maybe the thing that you went, I don't know how many men you guys shower with on a daily basis, but can you imagine
Very few.
playing a sporting event like football and you can't take a shower?
No.
So the power went out. The lights were out for about 20 minutes last night, and then it affected the water. So neither team had showers after the game. And guys,
bus ride.
One you're going on a bus ride, the other you're flying back to New Jersey.
Oh,
is some guys had to get in the cold tub to take a bath.
Yeah, no.
So that they could get on a plane and go home, but they did not have showers after the game.
See, this is where I think, and I go back to what we have to see college teams sometimes do, like college baseball teams, where I shout out Curtis Ledbetter and all those director of baseball operations guys out there. When you have to pivot because the facility that you're at is not currently functioning, like I know there's been cases where you have to call around to gyms and say, hey, you guys still open? But think about when that game got over last night, unless it's a 24-hour facility, there's not a lot of those gymnasiums that are, or gyms that are probably open for you to have, community type showers, but you got to be creative with that. Cause I mean, hey, I know it's not flu season right now, but this is how you get colds.
Wow.
What?
Yeah. You got all those germs on you and stuff. And then you get from one temperature to the other, and then the body is absorbing that sweat, and then your body temperature goes down, and you're just more susceptible to colds.
This is supposed to be a positive day.
Oh, I'm just saying.
What in the heck are we talking about?
I'm just worried. I was worried. I hope nobody had like a sustained cold because they
got
couldn't
head lice
shower
while
right
they're at
away.
it.
It's not just a bunch of stinky guys that are going to be feeling uncomfortable. They can get sick. It's true. I don't claim to be a doctor, but
I think you did. I think you tried to peddle yourself as a doctor right there.
I had a good night's sleep.
Okay, these are adults. These are not your 3-year-old. Okay.
Well, some of their immune systems. I mean,
Aaron Rodgers
COVID really messed all of us up with our immune systems.
Head
Okay,
lice and croup.
We're back to square one after COVID.
A couple of observations. Football related one, a couple of non-football related. On the first professional football game played last night in Canton, Ohio.
That Chris Collinsworth looks weird with a hat on.
Or his son has a weird mustache?
Yeah. Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
And there's way too many people on the pregame show?
There's like
everybody has a
13.
mustache
Which
now.
one? Okay, which one's going in the Hall of Fame and which one's on the pregame
Yeah,
show?
there are a lot of moving parts. It's like
It's
watching
like the Naked Gun.
It's like watching CNN. Like CNN has two teams that are covering Trump whenever something breaks,
Mm-hmm.
and like one is in DC and the other is in New York. Last night watching the NBC pregame show, they had like two sets of pregames that were going on. Like Maria Taylor would throw it to Chris Sims, and they would be at a different location. And I'm like, this is going to happen, as much as I'm going to love what the NBC is going to do to the Big Ten, they're going to have like 17 people on the pregame show.
So it looked like the Arizona Border Rican.
And then over there will be Nicole Auerbach, our insider.
Yep.
So they got a lot of people on that pregame show. But my observations are before the game began.
Dr. Joyce Brothers.
How many famous people do you know? Well, you might be Nick. You're famous, but like whenever famous people, usually they have people around them that are always yes men and yes women, and they don't ever say anything like, "Ooh, that's not good."
Yeah,
they never want to be negative, right? Because look, you might get the Lizzo treatment. But last night, so maybe I'm completely off here, and Jimmy, this is your guy, and I like DeMarcus Ware. So DeMarcus Ware sang the national anthem last night.
Some Carl
And he
Lewis
did
vibes.
it. He did it as a tribute to Demaryius Thomas, his former teammate, because he said we used to stand on the sidelines and sing the national anthem.
It was better than Carl Lewis.
That's great. I mean, that is a special moment.
Yeah,
but that doesn't mean that you should sing at an event which is televised nationally.
And do a high school game.
So DeMarcus Ware sang the anthem last night. And it's not easy to sing, and it took a lot of courage to do that. But doesn't somebody have to say to him, hey, maybe not at the weekend of your induction.
Right.
We don't need you singing the national anthem because
that's all we're going to think about.
It's not very good. But how many people, when you're famous, stand up and say, yeah, you know what? Maybe let's just work on it. Before we do that, let's just work on it before you get out there. Because, that was really, really bad. And here's the thing. Like, he was walking off the field, people were high-fiving him, they're dapping him, the NFL is building him up. And I'm like, that was bad. That was somebody's got to say, DeMarcus, no, you can't do that. That wasn't very good. But everybody's like, yeah.
Great job.
Nice job.
You knocked it out.
And
of
I'm
the
not going to
park.
say nice job and go, hello.
They're the enablers.
Let's say DeMarcus.
They're the enablers.
Man, that was a rough anthem. But when you're
hey,
famous,
dude, you're
when you're
trending on
famous,
Twitter.
probably people don't say, let's don't do that. Maybe let's make a wiser decision. Maybe we practice a little bit more and we come back another time and sing the anthem nationally, which he did last night.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if DeMarcus Ware will have a redemption moment because I think that cat's out of her.
Maybe in Denver.
If you decide to step up in that group and just say, I just don't think that was your best stuff.
I mean, what did you hear it?
Yeah, it was bad, but it wasn't Carl Lewis bad, guys. Because when you said Carl Lewis, because the hitting we didn't get that.
So Charlie Steiner wouldn't have been laughing.
No, I think. But see, when you go to the backstory of it, I don't know if you guys kind of felt like, can you lower your standard knowing that it just meant that much to him?
No.
No, not in that setting.
No.
See, I could.
If anything, it's like those cars that dedicate it to someone who died, and it's like a 97 Taurus.
Yeah.
Like, really? That's all you think of me is like a damn Taurus? Could have been like a Range Rover, or it's like a minivan. Like,
no, see, I felt bad because of why. Not necessarily if this was just an athlete that thought, because the Carl Lewis one, he really was passionate about singing the national anthem. He thought he could do a great job. And there have been other people that
I thought I could play in the NBA as a kid.
Think they could do very well. It's the same thing like when, if you're ever, well, like you said, you were listening to Dua Lipa this morning where you belting out the lyrics.
Yeah, and I'm pretty good.
See? But I bet if we put you in a microphone in front of a stadium.
Yeah, but that doesn't mean I'm going to like sing on air.
Yeah.
Well, if you want me to.
You did the other day.
But I don't, I'm not going on national TV and doing my best Dua Lipa. I would probably do the Elton John part, by the way.
I can understand and understand the criticism of the venue of doing it, not the actual act of doing it, even with the performance that you saw last night. Like, it's like, okay, cool. But this was kicking football off. And the only time people are watching this game is first half, first quarter. You're going to see some of the guys that you recognize. And then all of a sudden, once you start hearing about, dudes that are probably not going to make it into next week, yeah, your attention's gone. So this is when all the attention is on it. It's a Thursday night and it's football. So obviously it's a bigger stage, but I'm okay with it, I guess, because it's just not one of those things that just drives me crazy. I don't think it was like, it was bad, but I don't think it was like to the level of.
What are we doing here?
I'm just saying, like, I'm trying to stick up for the guy.
I thought he was,
you went from crushing the guy to sticking up for the guy. What are we doing here?
No. It wasn't good.
I thought he was going to reel it back in.
It wasn't good. But the problem with, or like the whole idea behind doing it is, it made me feel sorry. So I have a tough time, like, really digging in on him. It made me feel sorry for him.
Do you feel bad for the guy that instead of an island became a continent, and nobody knew that until you saw him last night?
What?
Darrelle Revis.
Oh,
yeah.
Okay.
That stuck out.
So
too. Like, that didn't take long.
I got questions here. First of all,
I got on the treadmill immediately.
For all of us that have like XL dad bods.
Then you got Joe Thomas, who's like, good for you, buddy.
Well, the thin polyester polo are not good for a dad bod.
No.
They're just not. I have to admit, last night, I did not recognize Darrelle Revis.
Me either.
Now, I don't get. So here's like the opposite. When offensive linemen stop playing football, they start losing weight. Yeah. Like Joe Thomas immediately lost a bunch of weight.
Like a cyclist body.
Have you seen Taylor Lewan?
Yeah.
Who just recently got done playing in the NFL. I saw a picture of him.
Looks good now.
Oh, he's super skinny.
That's cool.
I remember. There have been numerous like Nebraska offensive linemen that once their career is over, they trim down. Like Joe Thomas looks like he's, I don't know, under 200 pounds.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Matt Verzal.
Looks in great shape.
Matt Verzal got done playing football. Matt Verzal, skinny guy now. Offensive linemen go normally the opposite way. They go from being these 330-pound hulking guys that are just beating the crap out of each other every Sunday. They stop playing football. All of a sudden, they start to like thin down.
Yeah.
They become cyclists, marathoners. Like, it's
like, and Chris Bober, I remember when he first got done too, didn't even recognize the dude. What the heck? Like, probably also like Joe Thomas, like inside like 200 pounds easily.
So what happened to Revis?
It was the opposite.
But you see this with sometimes the skill position players, or you see this with defensive backs too. It goes the exact opposite. I mean, we've seen running backs, we've seen quarterbacks,
like
we've seen defensive backs
that long ago.
Smaller guys that once they get out of it, all of a sudden they just.
He was a relative. I mean, he was in fantastic shape when he was playing. But I got questions here. And see, no one. I don't know if anybody like. I know that I'm not famous because people will say, "Hey, you look like you've gained about 15." Okay, so but if you're like famous, people aren't going to say, "Hey, Revis,
you know what it is?
Looking great."
Island to a continent. Dick's Sporting Goods is not going to have you as an endorser anymore.
That's damn funny.
So, but here's the thing that I got questions, and I think I have a little experience here. I'm wondering, you get fitted for the gold jacket.
Yeah.
Yep.
Dude, Revis probably normally is like he was when he was playing. He was a small guy.
Like probably 40 regular.
Like he's got to be fitted for the gold jacket, and it's going to be a little bit large.
It's probably going to be like 46, 48.
But here, then there's the other thing. Like, you guys have all gotten married. We've all gotten married. You know that, and maybe this was just my case, is we went into this like deep working out thing. Like we went hard in the paint for like 8 weeks prior to the wedding to get in shape.
I remember that.
Mm-hmm.
It was a little bit easier for the other half compared to yours truly, because I was busy and I wasn't at the time really into exercising, but you knew that your big event was coming up.
Yeah.
And so you wanted to be in the best shape possible because of all the pictures. And then when you go to Jamaica and you're on the beach
that's right.
and you're shirtless or you're in a bikini, you want it to look good. What wasn't there anybody that said to Revis, "Hey, the Hall of Fame ceremony's coming up in 2 months. How about we do some Peloton?"
Little Mo, cardio.
Salad.
I mean, did you guys do that? Now, you guys are both a little slight guys, but didn't you guys do that?
Oh, yeah, totally.
Leading up to your
Yeah.
wedding, or
Yeah.
your wives were like, oh, no, I'm getting in the best shape of my life.
Yeah.
I may go on the honeymoon and it's all inclusive and I may gain 400 pounds.
Yep.
But for that one day,
because all the eyes are on,
yeah,
you like to say on
They're
the
not on you.
on the bride.
They weren't on
you're accompanying the bride for the majority of that day, so they're on you as well, whether you like it or not.
Didn't you guys do that?
Yeah, I did.
Oh yeah,
Totally.
And then in the middle of it, I moved to Houston for a job, so that kind of threw a wrench in things. But then I was like, no, got to get back in. Got 4 weeks now. Got to hurry up and yeah. And like you just said, once we got to the honeymoon, all inclusive, all you can eat, it was on. It's delicious too.
Man, I feel for my guy Rivas. He's been taking retirement too seriously.
But I don't know. There's got to be some science behind this with the nutrition that you're used to.
The science is an
Some
extra
science.
patty.
It's
extra bacon.
all right, no science.
Well, no, I'm talking about the offensive linemen who
Donuts.
lose weight because you see that all the time.
Let's go to that Chinese buffet called Rivas Island every day since retirement.
Would you
That's
like
the
crab
science
rangoon or
behind
egg
it.
roll? Yes.
But in terms of the offense, save that question for Verzal.
I will.
Why offensive linemen are able to cut down weight like quickly after they stop playing football?
I would venture to guess the amount of food and calories that you take in that you're required to after lifting on those regimens, that you don't have that same type of hunger, that you're probably cutting your intake by half and you just deflate. I mean, that's
Why can't it be that easy?
way more common than what you see. And what I always feel like is somewhat common with your more slight skilled position players, where they go the opposite way. You see it a lot. I just remember going to having a Nebraska, basically an alum situation in Columbus when I was out there for a golf event. And it was interesting. You saw a lot of the defensive line and offensive lineman guys that played there once upon a time in great shape. And it was a skill position. Guys were like, wow. If I were to ask you, I had an intern work with me. If I had to ask you who the O-line or D lineman was and who was the wide receiver or the quarterback or the running back, who would you say? And it'd be the exact opposite. She's like, oh, he played offensive line.
Never fails.
You'd be wrong.
Never fails. I mean, Joe Thomas, and I noticed this shortly, it might have been like 6 months after he retired, because he then got heavily in the media. He had already sliced down.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, this wasn't like a new
Seems like
thing.
they go one way or the other.
I don't think people just saw Joe Thomas last night and said, wow, like, yeah, he's been like that for a while. But
and then they show the picture when he went fishing on draft day. I was like, that's the Joe Thomas I remember.
Yeah. I think once
I
you
was
get
eating
to that,
leftover pizza,
you lose that weight. Then I think, and I've seen other offensive linemen that have lost that weight initially, and then over the years, they find a way of putting it back on. But Joe Thomas has not done that.
For the record, doesn't happen to all former offensive linemen.
No.
Maybe I should have played tackle instead of played guard. All third team CIML guard, by the way.
Really?
You guys didn't know that? I just have to remind people like once a year.
All conference guy?
Well, third team.
Hey,
seat at the table.
That is. That's still getting you mentioned in the paper.
Yeah, I never got an award or anything. Never got a certificate. I just got told that. I don't know if it's true or not.
well, I mean, it's different than today.
But it's on.
You never got a certificate?
It's on my resume.
Yeah, it should be on your resume.
Yeah,
but you never got a certificate.
Never got a certificate. I think I was just told that as motivation.
You never saw the paper.
And I'm
or
like,
anything?
I was told that after the season was over. What is the motivation? Never to play football again?
I can't believe you didn't get a certificate.
Yeah,
it's different back then.
You didn't hunt it down in the paper. They had to have some type of documentation of that in the paper.
Now that I think about it in real time here, I think I was probably lied to.
Just to motivate you.
Yeah, I'm sure it's like that honorable mention all state where everybody that is left on the roster gets nominated.
Or you get good sportsman.
Do you get a
sportsman of the year?
certificate? Do you get a certificate for being like honorable mention all state?
I thought you did. Okay. I never was.
I'm sure you do now.
Yeah.
Well, you will now after this conversation. Yeah. All right. Let me get the lineup brought to you by the
We all won.
referees at John
Everyone's
Higgins Weather Guard. Mike Schaefer will join us a little bit later. Again, Nebraska practices today. They only have 17 practices left before the start of the season. Also, Matt Verzal, skinny offensive lineman, will join us. That's all to come. The lineup brought to you every day by the referees at John Higgins Weather Guard. All right, there is stuff to discuss. The Pac-12 is the Big Ten is the Big 12 is expanding.
Pac-12's on hospice.
The Big 12 looks like they're Revis.
Yeah,
they're adding weight.
Yeah, well, the Pac-12 is Joe Thomas.
Well, the Pac-8 now is in a little canoe with everybody paddling that is left, and we'll see what happens. Arizona State went late into the night. Washington's Board of Regents meeting, they extended it 4 different times. Does that mean they're going to the Big 10 or the Big 12 if you extend it 4 times?
Meetings.
But another day of where you were hitting F5 on your computer. And with Nebraska football, Marcus Satterfield talked yesterday. He's hitting the X button with one of his running backs, that's for sure. That's all that comes as we roll till 10. The whole gang here to wrap up a week on a feel-good Friday. 1620 The Zone.
Mornings with Sharp and Handley on 1620 The Zone and 1620thezone.com with Gary Sharp and Nick Handley. Big names, big games. We've got them all. 1620 The Zone.
Happy birthday to us. That's right. We're turning 50 this year, and we're celebrating with you. Introducing my new birthday cake streusel, topped with vanilla cake and crunchy streusel, a swirl of white icing, and showered with rainbow sprinkles. Paired with our classic combo, the one that started it all, and your favorite one-topping pizza. Happy birthday feast. Enjoy one today. Godfather's Pizza. Do it.
The brand new Dollar General Distribution Center in Blair is now hiring. Starting wage is up to $22 per hour with benefits including medical, dental, vision, 401k, and a $2,000 sign-on bonus. Apply today by texting DG Warehouse to 25000 or online at dollargeneral.com/careers. Again, apply today by texting DG Warehouse to 25000 or online at dollargeneral.com/careers. Dollar General can't wait to have you become a team member at their brand new distribution center.
For the ones who work hard to ensure their crew can always go the extra mile, and the ones who get in early so everyone can go home on time, there's Grainger, offering professional-grade supplies backed by product experts so you can quickly and easily find what you need. Plus, you can count on access to a committed team ready to go the extra mile for you. Call, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Wesley Financial Group is not a law firm.
This story is called The Ugly Truth About Timeshare. If you think you've done your family a favor by buying a timeshare, you need my help. Hello, I'm Chuck McDowell, CEO and founder of Wesley Financial Group. 10 years ago, I started helping folks cancel their timeshare. In the process, started what's now called the timeshare cancellation industry. Timeshare is the only thing that you can buy that you can't tell me how much it's going to cost or when it's going to end. When you buy a timeshare, you give them a blank check to fill out any amount they want for annual maintenance and assessment fees. The crazy thing is, this never ends. Even when you die, your family's now going to be stuck with this burden. Stop the insanity today. Call my office now. If we take you as a client, I guarantee we'll cancel your timeshare or you'll pay nothing.
Call for your free information kit. 800-462-3333. That's 800-462-3333. 800-462-3333.
Don't miss this week's Zone Deal.
This week's half-off deal is $50 in vouchers for only $25 to Timber Creek Pizza Pub and Grill. Timber Creek Pizza Pub and Grill serves pizza with an unforgettable sauce and fresh ingredients and unique combinations of bold flavors. Visit Timber Creek's family-friendly dining environment while enjoying a popular adult beverage. Timber Creek Pizza Pub and Grill, 178th and Harrison.
Zone deals go fast. 9 a.m. Friday, 1620thezone.com.
Hey everyone, Josh Peterson here for my friends at Kugler Vision. Let us talk about the 3 most surprising things about modern LASIK at Kugler Vision. The first, how fast that LASIK procedure is. With Kugler Vision's leading-edge technology, we're talking just a few minutes per eye. Incredibly speedy. And how about this for number 2? How comfortable the procedure is. So often from their patients, they hear, wait, that's it? It's over? They make sure that you're relaxed and comfortable, as well as knowing exactly what is happening. And this, for number 3, how quickly you can get back to normal life. patients typically drive themselves to Kugler Vision the very next day for their follow-up visit. So you're back in action less than 24 hours later. Kugler Vision right now, they have special pre-summer savings on modern LASIK or any of their other advanced vision correction procedures. If you've ever thought about fixing your bad vision, the Kugler Vision Eye Analysis is your first step. Do so today. Schedule one online at KuglerVision.com.
We're going abroad for the first time in years. To Spain.
But we don't speak Spanish.
So we started using Babbel.
And started learning Spanish fast.
With Babbel, you can start having conversations in another language in just 3 weeks. Babbel's conversational method teaches you real-life words and phrases. And with Babbel's interactive bite-sized lessons, you'll remember what you learned.
¿Cómo te llamas? ¿Cómo te llamas?
¿De dónde eres? ¿De dónde eres?
When you learn a language, you want to actually use it. Babbel is designed with that goal in mind.
In just 3 weeks, we're starting to have conversations in Spanish.
Estoy muy emocionado para ir a España contigo.
Aww. He just said, I'm very excited to go to Spain with you. Vamos a tener mucha diversión.
And that means we're going to have so much fun.
Sí. Gracias, Babbel.
Babbel, language for life. Celebrating 10 million subscriptions sold. Now try Babbel for free at Babbel.com. Just go to Babbel.com and start learning a new language today. That's Babbel.com. Babbel.com.
And we're back. Mornings with Sharp and Handley. Here's Gary, Nick, and Jimmy on 1620 this.
Catchy.
I just remember seeing her on SNL. She did a good job. Yeah. And you were singing this, huh?
Yeah.
Hopefully, country artist doesn't cover it.
Welcome back in.
Give it some time.
Let this one just. Yeah.
This could be the song of the summer. There's still time.
So Jim Polzing, who covers the Badgers for the Wisconsin State Journal, has a story this morning on Amy Fickle, the wife of Luke Fickle. And part of the story is that she visited 2 college football towns in the span of 48 hours. One was Madison. She will not say what the other is. But in the story, they speculate that it was Lincoln, Nebraska.
Uh-huh.
That Luke Fickle's wife came to Lincoln to visit the town.
Do we know who she visited with? Well, I guess then you would.
Did you meet her? 951-1620?
Then you would be letting out the identity of said town. So I guess not.
Rule, Leipold, maybe Fickle. That's how the pecking order went. Now, did the Fickles get to stay at Trev's house?
Yeah.
If they didn't, then you were not in.
Right.
But curious that in this story, she would mention, I visited 2 college football towns in the span of 48 hours.
Mhm.
You remember the timing when Wisconsin got involved, or Luke Fickle to Wisconsin became a thing that, oh boy, this is happening at the end of the regular season and into the first part of December, and then when Luke Fickle was hired.
Mhm.
So it has to be, we're just going to speculate, and that's what we do in Sports Talk Radio and everybody else does, that it's Lincoln, that she explored Lincoln and Madison in the span of 48 hours. But what if Nebraska was not exploring her husband?
Well,
that's kind of dirty.
That would be, so she would be like cheating on her husband? In terms of looking for jobs.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So I got to go through this interesting read. The one takeaway from, well, many takeaways from last week in Indianapolis, Wisconsin's hype is real. I mean, they are all in on the Luke Fickle experience, and he's a cool customer, man. He just there's just something about him. And then he's like, they brought Mordecai and they brought Allen. They have a lot of like confidence, but the hype is like building. Talking to one of the reporters, not Jim, he said it's in Madison. It's like going through the roof that they think this is going to finally blow up in Madison and be what they want it to be.
They're
And that
checking
is to
around.
be, and that is to be playing in a playoff.
Yeah.
But I mean, maybe not this year, but when you expand to 12, and you may get a situation where the Big Ten could be in the running to get 5 of those 12, or at least 4 of those 12, with the way that
The Big
they
20?
may schedule.
Mhm.
No, I think if we are going down this path where they add 2, you're going to blow up the schedules. I wonder if they allow teams to go back and revisit their protected rivals, because now we know why Penn State didn't do any protected rivals, because they're scheduling for the playoff. While other teams are like, oh, I want 3, I want 2.
Yeah.
Will teams now go, oh, I see what Penn State was doing. They got a playoff-friendly schedule. Maybe the Big Ten will do that as well, but I'm not going to have 3. I'm going to have 1 and see what the schedule that I'm being dealt. I think with the new commissioner who talks about winning and making the playoff, and now everything is geared towards the playoff with TV and the way you schedule and the way you talk about your program, whether it's realistic for more than 15% of the entire sport, scheduling will be a big thing. If you add 2 or you add 4 and you've got to blow up 24 and 25, you redo it where you're scheduling for as many teams possible to be in the playoff. And that's what they think at Wisconsin is, hey, we may not have a chance at 4, but when we get to 12 and Fickle's here, man, watch out. That's what they're feeling in Madison, or at least that's what was relayed to me.
And I think it's understandable. I think with the concepts that have already been in place for Wisconsin, that it kind of depends on who you read when it comes to the different breakdowns of Wisconsin. I think locally there's been that sentiment of it's not going to be completely abandoning the physical part of what makes Wisconsin sort of a staple, both defensively and offensively. I always think of the offensive line, but also being able to take it to the next level. I mean, consider that we were watching some of this on Big Ten Network over the last week of the Wisconsin games that were just kind of going down the checklist of quarterbacks. And you really had to go all the way back to Russell Wilson in the 1 year that they had him from NC State, when you actually had somewhat of a playmaker at quarterback. And that's something that if you've gone down the Wisconsin quarterback history right now, if you're going to bring in someone who can elevate your offense a little bit more with the passing game, but you still do have that heavy presence with the running game, you have a Braylon Allen, and as you mentioned, Mordecai at quarterback, but you also have this ability to be able to throw the ball, but still being able to press the gas on the running game, having that ability to still recruit the way that you do in the trenches, but taking that up with Phil Longo in just a step up. This is when we talk about West Division teams positioning themselves for a much bigger, highly competitive Big Ten without divisions. Wisconsin is one of those teams that you can already see making those moves. So I get why people, whether it's in Wisconsin or people that watch college football, are extremely optimistic or very high on because of what Luke Fickell has accomplished, the people he's surrounded himself with. But the fact that this isn't all of a sudden this air raid offense that's going to, completely abandon the run. They're still going to have an element of that. And so it's hard not to look at that and say, boy, this thing, if they click, especially click early, look out for Wisconsin because of the things that they still have remaining, but the things that they can now add to something that they kind of lack that probably did not allow them to get over the hump in a lot of those situations, in those high leverage situations within Big Ten play.
I'm let me go back into this. It was a whirlwind tour for Amy, who visited 2 schools in the span of 48 hours. She wouldn't say what her other stop was, but my money's on Nebraska, which announced its hiring of Matt Rule the day before the stunning news that McIntosh had landed Fickell. Amy asked to be shown what a recruit would see. She also wanted to visit neighborhoods and drive by some schools. I wanted to see where I can raise my family. She's talking about her visit to Madison in November. So she visited 2 schools. Probably Nebraska.
Yeah, would make sense.
Oh, all right. So that's for your reading today. Again, Big Ten Network is in Lincoln. They will be doing a live show at 3:00, and maybe they will talk about Anthony Grant. I was starting to want. I know you're big Anthony Grant. You've gone to his new number 23.
Have I?
Did you turn in your 10?
It's still there.
All right, so he's wearing 23. I know you're a big Anthony Grant guy. The other guy, the clock is ticking. I mean, they love Gabe Ervin, but the clock is ticking on Gabe Ervin. I mean, if if it's not going to happen this year, with all the lead up and the discussion about him and the way he looks, and he looks like a grown arse man. So does Ramir.
Yes.
Ramir's at 190. So Ramir met the media yesterday. And a
Yeah.
lot of guys look leaner. Like Ben Scott, the Ben Scott baby fat he brought from Arizona State. They've taken that baby fat and they've molded it, and he looks like a solid 310.
Yeah, and
But-
solid being the key word.
But Irvin is solid. Like that's a thick young man.
Looks like he would not be fun to tackle.
But the clock is ticking on him. Okay, they've built him up. They've said the door is open. You've got a new lease on life. Go get it. But I always wondered throughout this process, no one ever talks about Anthony Grant. You know, the most discussion about Anthony Grant that I've heard was at the beginning of Rules Spring Football when he announced that Anthony Grant was suspended. Well, good on AG. He said, not so fast. I'm going to take care of it, coach. I'm sorry. He fights back. But have you heard anybody talk about Anthony Grant in an extended period other than a passing mention?
No, nothing more than the experience that he has.
We as media, we as fans talk more about Anthony Grant
Mhm.
until yesterday. So Anthony Grant is still around. Anthony Grant has said, not so fast, my friends. But it was curious to hear Marcus Satterfield, which I appreciate. I think Satterfield was I think he's going to be a guy that's pretty honest, but I'm going to be pretty critical on him because I got too many memories of South Carolina fans and giving me the whole breakdown on Satterfield's offense last year. Won't happen here, and there's a reason why. We'll get to that a little bit later in the show. But, so Satterfield is talking about the running backs, and you got E.J. Barthel who's talking about the running backs. I think all running backs sound alike, all running back coaches. They all kind of have their own, like, pet phrases. Bell cow, we're going to run like a lion.
I like bell cow.
And we don't know. We like to think that Nebraska's been on a nice run of running back coaches post Reggie Davis, who may have not known much about the position. But we've been on a nice little run, and we seem to like the running back coaches. Like, we like Ryan Held. We really like Brian Applewhite. We really like E.J. Barthel. And they all kind of sound alike in what they say, but does it ever come to fruition?
Right.
And we will see if it'll come to fruition this year. But back to Anthony Grant. So I'm wondering, hey, where is Anthony Grant? A lot of people think he's going to be the starting running back, but I don't ever hear anything about him until yesterday. And it's quite pure and simple. Listen to E.J. Barthel talk. They are not redoing Anthony Grant. They're trying to make him into what a running back should be, like a full-scale running back. Because Anthony's biggest problem is getting past the first level, not knowing what to do. Like, get him to the second level, maybe you're cooking with peanut oil. But that first level has always been a challenge. And now I know why there hasn't been a lot of discussion is because it's not they've thrown him to the scrap heap. They like him. He's going to play. I mean, you're going to have a trio of running backs. But they got to teach him how to be a running back, like how to be a full-scale running back. So I'm glad that he has resurfaced, and there was at least a little bit of discussion about him because I was starting to wonder.
Yeah,
you didn't hear anything about him.
Well, and Marcus Satterfield was talking about a lot of the concepts that are going to get you on the field more, and from whether you're talking about first level, making guys having that ability to miss, but also which we know.
No, not having the ability to miss, Nick. Just maybe like not running where you're supposed to.
Well, right,
running into the back of offensive linemen
because we know that Anthony Grant. Remember, that was the one thing that we were always in awe of when he was able to press at the second level is he could get upfield, he could get guys missing, he could get into the clearing and away you went. But, and we kind of saw this too with the group of running backs when you looked at like the Divine Ezigbo group before Scott Frost got there, is that was a group that you just never knew under Mike Riley who was going to necessarily stand out other than a Terrell Newby because, who's reliable in pass pro situations, who's being able to do the dirty things when it comes to chipping, being able to help out a quarterback in a passing situation, who had good hands. And so like when Marcus Satterfield was talking about a lot of those different concepts of what is going to get running backs on the field more, it sounded very familiar. It sounded very reminiscent of when you had a group of running backs, once upon a time that you could never point to say, okay, well, in which situation is this guy going to be used? And so, and this, I think, continues to go back to how a staff evaluates a certain group on how one staff might have and what they decided to really emphasize during the season and developing compared to another staff and how they want to develop a guy. Because remember, we were all pretty high on Anthony Grant the first half of the season last year. And then to your point about those little things of running into blockers and kind of getting frustrated with that, where it's like, okay, is he doing too much dancing? Is there not enough north-south element with him when it comes to just the initial carry and trying to get to a spot? And so then we all kind of got frustrated because I think we saw so much good early on, and then it was trying to adjust to that Big Ten level. So, and when I hear E.J. Barthel speak, there's another guy you mentioned. I would almost compare that energy level to kind of like Ryan Held. Like you can tell there's a passion there. There's a plan in place that they're really trying to emphasize. But you're right. At the end of the day, does that all come to fruition? Because it seems like a guy that understands the group he has and what they're trying to accomplish. But are you going to see a different Anthony Grant? Are you going to see a different Anthony Grant from the initial onset of getting the football as opposed to what you saw when he did get the second level? Because that's all good.
Yeah. Who was the last running back coach to maximize the talent that they had?
That's a great question.
Now, there's a running back coach that doesn't have play calling responsibilities. You can only do so much. But think about this. We'll swing back to it in the next hour. The last running back coach that you truly believe that maximized his talent in that room, whether they were high-end talent or whether they were under the radar, that by the time they left here, Divine of Zigbo is a 1,000-yard rusher. Because I think we're on a stretch of 3 straight running back coaches that generally you like. And again, if they're not attached to play calling responsibilities, sometimes our opinion changes on them. And maybe incorrectly. Mike Schaefer, Matt Verzal a little bit later. Before we go to break, I do want to mention something. This is a little bit of sad news for people that have listened to my work, whether it be in Lincoln on the network or now back here in Omaha, or you've listened to any sports talk around the state of Nebraska and right here on 1620 The Zone. We had one of our favorite callers who had a very distinctive voice and delivery. We called him J-Man. Jamison Meza has passed away. You definitely knew his voice. You knew J-Man. We loved talking to him. He had 3 teams that were his favorites that every time that he would call any talk show in the state of Nebraska, he would talk about his Huskers. He absolutely loved his Huskers. Mm-hmm. And whenever he would call into my shows, I mean, you could tell that Nebraska could be 0 for the world, and they still were the best team ever for Jamison.
Yep.
And he had a ton of passion. And then he loved his Tennessee Titans. J-Man and I had a bet when Tennessee and Kansas City played in the postseason, and then he loved the Braves.
Mm-hmm.
And those were the 3 things that he was guaranteed whenever he called a show that he was going to talk about. And it was great to talk to him. He came to our poker night. We had this was probably 6-7 years ago here on the Zone. We had a poker night, and J-Man was at poker playing. That was the first time that I'd gotten to meet him in person. And I'd been talking to him since 1999, 2000, when I first remember him calling into shows. And thank you to Jennifer who let us know that J-Man passed away on Monday. So our thoughts and prayers with his family. And if you know, you know, he loved calling talk shows and he liked talking sports. So our thoughts are with him, and we'll miss him calling in the show. He'd had some health issues. He hadn't called in for a while.
Yeah.
But man, whenever you would see his name pop up on the screen, we had one case, and he would hang on. There would be times. There was one time, because we were backed up and there was a lot of stuff going on, we couldn't get to him. And so J-Man, he hung on the line for a little over an hour. And then Shane had to pick up the phone because we didn't want him to be asleep when he was waiting.
Yeah.
But man, when Shane picked up the phone, and it had been like an hour, he's like, I'm ready to go.
Yeah.
And so we're going to miss that. But again, thank you to Jennifer for letting us know. And I hope all of you just say a little prayer for the Mazes this morning. All right. This is Mornings with Sharp and Handley on 1620 The Zone.
More with Gary and Nick after this on 1620 The Zone. 1620 The Zone. Traffic.
From the Backlund Plumbing Time-Saving Traffic Center. We have no accidents to report at this time, but you can expect a significant delay from Harrison to Q Street along 204th. Then on Dodge, it looks like things are starting to slow down just a little bit from 94th to 90th. And on Industrial Road, be prepared for some slowdown near 149th. As always, remember to stay safe and wear your seatbelts. I'm Chris Scott. This time-saving traffic was brought to you by Fernando's.
Exercise your right to vote.
I'm voting for this taco.
Vote for Fernando's Mexican Restaurant for best Mexican dining and best margarita at bestofomaha.com today. Come join the fiesta at Fernando's.
Email any of our shows anytime into the Equitable Bank inbox. At Equitable, we take banking personally. For me, John at 1620thezone.com. The Equitable Bank inbox from 1620 The Zone.
Let It Fly Sports Bar is your elevated sports bar experience. Located in the Capital District in downtown Omaha, experience Let It Fly's unique brand of hospitality with 2 floors, 2 bars, 2 expansive outdoor patios, and an in-house podcast studio with live broadcasts of the Let It Fly show, hosted by me, Michael Severe, and Josh Jones. Host your next watch party, private event, or date night right here at Let It Fly Sports Bar. Now open.
O'Reilly. Did you know 1 in 4 car batteries is weak and needs to be replaced? O'Reilly Auto Parts will test your battery for free. If your battery needs to be replaced, our professional parts people can help you find the right Super Start battery for your vehicle and budget. Don't wait. Get your battery tested for free today. Local O'Reilly
Auto Parts.
Why?
Why?
If you have T-Mobile 5G home internet, you might be hearing this a lot.
Why?
Every time your internet slows down during the busiest hours.
Why?
Because your network gives priority to cell phone users.
Why?
Good question. Why not switch to Cox Internet with 2 times faster download speeds than T-Mobile 5G home internet during peak hours?
Okay.
Stop the whys and visit cox.com/5G home for details. T-Mobile prioritizes certain T-Mobile phone users over home internet users during times of congestion.
We're going abroad for the first time in years. To Spain.
But we don't speak Spanish.
So we started using Babbel.
And started learning Spanish fast.
With Babbel, you can start having conversations in another language in just 3 weeks. Babbel's conversational method teaches you real-life words and phrases. And with Babbel's interactive bite-sized lessons, you'll remember what you learned.
¿Cómo te llamas? ¿Cómo te llamas?
¿De dónde eres?
¿De dónde eres?
When you learn a language, you want to actually use it. Babbel is designed with that goal in mind.
In just 3 weeks, we're starting to have conversations in Spanish.
Estoy muy emocionado para ir a España contigo.
Aw, he just said, I'm very excited to go to Spain with you. Vamos a tener mucha diversión.
And that means we're going to have so much fun.
Sí. Gracias, Babbel.
Babbel, language for life. Celebrating 10 million subscriptions sold. Now try Babbel for free at babbel.com. Just go to babbel.com and start learning a new language today. That's babbel.com. BABBEL.com.
Attention sales professionals. NRG Media is looking for an accomplished business-to-business salesperson who wants to take their success and skills to a new level. Is this you? Our account executives work with local businesses to create marketing plans to help them get more customers. On air, digital, on-site, audio, video, it's all part of what you could sell. A sales career with NRG lets you make a real difference. Get more info and apply online at nrgmedia.com. NRG Media is an equal opportunity employer.
Dad, I don't feel good.
I'll grab the Vicks DayQuil Kids Honey.
Isn't DayQuil just for parents?
Actually, Vicks DayQuil Kids Honey is just for kids, specially designed to treat kids' most bothersome cold symptoms quickly with a honeylicious tasting flavor kids like.
You know what else kids like?
DayQuil Kids Honey first, then video games.
Deal.
Vicks DayQuil Kids Honey, the kids' honeylicious daytime coughing, congestion, stuffy head, stuffy nose medicine. Safe for ages 6+.
Let It Fly, your elevated sports bar experience. KOZ and Bellevue, Omaha, Council Bluffs. This is 1620 The Zone. Now back to mornings with Sharp and Handley on 1620 The Zone.
telling you, if you guys are not fans, after today, you're going to be a fan.
She's fine.
Okay. I mean,
She's fine.
I'm not trying to push her on you. Saying this is good little upbeat for a Friday.
Yeah. I'm fine with Dua Lipa. Clearly, Gary is too.
This has got a Friday
Does this
vibe.
not get you going?
Oh, it's upbeat.
Like you hop in the car
It's
at
upbeat.
5:30 and you're driving to work, and this comes on. You're like,
I just don't know the lyrics
Start-
well enough to be able to to sing the entire catalog
Well, you
like you
don't-
apparently
no,
you
bob your
do.
head.
you don't need to know the lyrics. You
But
just-
weren't you singing it? this
I
morning?
was. That was the other song. I know
Okay.
this song, but
Yeah.
I
This is
can't.
Doja
I
Cat.
can't do justice.
So it's more of just the
Yeah.
let the shoulders.
like Don Henley turning American Pie into Goodbye to the Pac-12. I can do, but I don't want to. I want to.
This is your
Do this to
driving,
Dua.
a little smile on
yeah.
your face,
Yeah, this is-
bobbing your head.
kind of similar to What Is Love? When It Don't
Yeah,
Hurt Me, where
there
you
you
just
go.
got the Night the Roxbury head bop.
Odds are on a Monday morning you're not doing this, but
Yeah.
on Friday, definitely.
Because yeah, totally. This is a head bobbing to the side
Yeah.
beat. Yeah, it's almost
Yeah.
effortless. Gotta stop doing it now. I can't get my neck getting old.
Yeah.
Oh, you stopped the song? I thought you were going to let the song play.
Oh, I mean, I would, but apparently Nick was going to hurt himself.
Oh no,
and
I can stop. No, I said I needed to stop.
Working
I needed to stop my
workman's
head
comp
bobbing.
and-
You can keep the song going. I had to physically stop my head
So
bobbing.
Creighton plays today. They're in the Bahamas. Does Nebraska play tomorrow?
Yes.
Then Omaha gets going here pretty quick because they finally made it to Costa Rica. Thanks for the invite. But
No,
Creighton
better.
plays today. I was looking at the team they're playing. There's a guy on the team that the Jays are playing today in the Bahamas that is 38 years old.
Really?
Yeah. Do you remember? And they haven't done this for a while.
That's awesome.
They haven't done this for
Affectionately known as
Hey,
Pops.
Hey, it would have been better if Grant Gibbs was still on the roster. 30-year-old Grant Gibbs against 38-year-old whatever. But this used to be the case. Do you remember before they readjusted how they would do an exhibition? There would be teams that would travel across the country. I remember going to a game where I think it might have been Iowa was playing Athletes in Action. You would have, you'd have these former college players, former NBA guys would put together these all-star teams, and then they'd barnstorm across the country playing college basketball teams and exhibitions before the year began. And I just remember, because I thought it was cool on their uniforms, it was just a big A, and then it was a small I, and then another big A. And I thought that's a cool uniform. They were Athletes in Action. I remember them playing against Iowa, and they had a dude that, I mean, he must have had grandkids that was playing against them. But this used to be the norm when they had those exhibition games.
That, yeah.
The EA
Athletes in
Sports
Action.
All-Stars played KU when I was in school.
EA Sports All-Stars.
Most hated rivals.
Yep.
They have a dude that's 38 years old today playing against Creighton.
He's going to be fully decked out. He better be fully decked out and like
elbow pads.
yeah,
he's
got the neopprene knee sleeves. He's got a headband on.
The dude at the Y that's just lighting dudes up.
He's
with
got the
a 3-inch
rec
vertical.
specs, the high impact battle glasses on.
How's he able to
I wanna
do
see
that?
all
He
that.
just eels his way to the basket.
The shot just is like the most non-textbook thing you've ever seen, but it's just
Out there
dropping,
passing like
dropping,
Arvidas
dropping.
Sabonis.
And then you see, hey, there's a 38-year-old guy. We're going to run circles around. Then he's running circles around you.
He's kicking our
Because
ass.
this is the biggest day of his life. At least he's been looking forward to this day. He's like, I'm going to show these guys a thing or two.
Oh, you don't think he's going to try like posterize Kalkbrenner?
Hell yeah, he is.
Goes all Kevin McHale.
Absolutely.
Slippery
Hey,
eel.
I didn't take half a day off work to come and get beat up by a bunch of college kids.
And
from
that's going to
Omaha.
be the pregame speech right there, too. That is going to be the
I have to
pregame
go
speech.
grocery shopping after this. Let's go out there and play our ass off, all right?
All right, welcome back in hour number 2.
38 years old. Wow.
See the list I have for Target? Good Lord.
He's older than most of the coaches on the staff for Creighton. That's great.
I hope he has a good game.
Yeah. Can we get a live feed of that thing?
Flow Hoops.
Okay, good.
Yeah, they're the only one that have a live stream, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like
Is Omaha?
So Omaha is. Let's still say it's a
No,
work in
he's right
It's a
here.
work in progress. Yeah.
Yeah. Well,
You
you
know
were
what?
supposed to go.
If I was in Costa Rica,
You do the Seamus thing and
I'd
just
be
hold
do-
up the phone.
I'd be doing the game right now.
Yep.
I just put it on StreamYard and I turn my computer towards.
See,
it.
you
I'd
could.
be
We
doing
could
the
throw it on the
broadcast.
show.
There are
Yeah.
ways to do this. Yes.
All right. What was it? What are we on? A little over a week ago, we had that brief volleyball football gate.
Yeah.
You know what Matt Rule said when I asked him? So before he sat down last Thursday, I said, how was your day the other day? And he goes, "Oh, with the volleyball thing?" He goes, my family just moved here. All of a sudden I have an accent. He goes, my family just moved here. He goes, I wasn't paying attention. He goes, it's not a big deal. And you saw what he did. He bought breakfast for the team. And the guys that were in Indianapolis were like, that's funny. That's pretty funny. It's early in camp. They haven't even played a game. We've got another athlete on program crime in Lincoln.
Uh-oh.
We've got another current Nebraska student athlete who is attacking the football program. This is the kind of drama that we need.
Yeah.
You guys by now, because I've alerted you and our 3 listeners to
morning, guys.
Jess Gardner, the Nebraska pole vaulter, who is our version of Livy Dunn.
Yep.
She has an enormous following on TikTok. She has an enormous following on Instagram. She is extremely popular.
There you go, Nick.
She's a pole vaulter. She has put out a TikTok. Now they have well over 30,000 views of her TikTok. And she is one of the rising stars in the NIL world of college athletics. So when she puts something up, whether you know any of the backstory or not, you are going to click on it. Well, I don't know this part of the backstory. She apparently has heard that Husker football players are whining about fall camp.
Oh.
And so she went to TikTok and she called them out about the football players whining about fall camp. Now, I have not seen that anywhere. I have not gotten that indication from anybody that is living in Selleck. Boy, they need to update Selleck. I saw the video they're pranking Garrett McGuire, and they went inside of those rooms. It brought back bad memories of when I lived in the dorms.
Pranks, though. They're doing it the right way.
So Jess Gardner, a pole vaulter on the Nebraska track and field team and a TikTok star, social media star, thinks that Nebraska football players need to toughen up. So that's great. That's great. Because if she has over 30,000 views, I'm going to guess that 29,946 of them are from people that have no idea that Nebraska plays football. They just know that Jess Gardner wears Nebraska gear once in a while when she shows up on TikTok.
Yeah.
They're like, oh, Nebraska football is soft. We can't go a week, can we?
No.
Start the countdown over again.
Who's next?
And why does this? Why does
K-State say something next week?
Wow. Now
that would be something too. Given how much he talks.
Now that would, yes. I don't say very much, but when I do, football players, toughen up. Now it would be different if it was a male on male crime. I think we would be like, excuse me?
Yeah.
With female on male crime, where they get attacked. Now, I don't know if she'll get attacked by the Nebraska football fan that now knows this and like, what do you know? You're just a pole vaulter.
Right.
You don't even make any money.
Yeah.
Your sport loses money. You know what? If your sport was so good, they wouldn't have torn down Edward Track and built a football facility. Yeah. Go back to school. And then you realize,
you're not Livy Dunn.
And you realize she's got like millions of followers.
She's doing okay.
Yeah. All right. So reset the clock because we have had a drama with Nebraska football.
Is this, again, stemming from the living quarters and every time, and I'm sure she knows some of the players, but even Nate Borkature said yesterday, well, because she did the TikTok with MJ Sherman when they did the
Chief Borders.
Oh, was it Chief Borders? Yeah, okay, that's right. Chief Borders, when they did the pole vault thing.
She knows the football team.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now you've heard even Nate Borkature said flat out, yeah, it sucks.
By the way, you can tell that this is like day 5 of camp.
Yeah. Guys, you only got one more week.
Wait a minute.
27
Borkature said that camp sucks?
No, he said the dorms. He said dorms suck.
Okay.
But he said that was the whole point of it. And then he had if everybody who's been listening to the players that speak, again, they've been, I don't know if it's been coached up or whatever, or they're just kind of taking their cues from the head coach and the coaching staff. They know exactly what to say. But that's the point of the whole dorm living. And I'm paraphrasing Nate Borkature, and that is to embrace it, not to, quote, get through it, but to embrace it. Embrace that, as Matt Rule said, trying to be comfortable being uncomfortable, but also using it as a bonding moment. And Nate Borkacher talked about that yesterday too, talked about it being a bonding moment. But he did flat out say, he goes, yeah, it sucks. But that's the point of it. So I'm sure there's probably a lot of guys like, especially, I mean, think of some of the bigger dudes that are like, my sleep absolutely sucks right now because of the bed situation, because the beds they got in there are not made for guys that are 6'8" or Teddy Prohaska's 6'10" frame.
So why I bring this up, and I bring this up a little bit sarcastically, because she is friends with a lot of football players. I have just gone to her TikTok account.
Yeah.
She deleted it.
Oh, she did?
Yeah, and she has responded. Never read the comments. Never read the comments. So she said the purpose of the video is I'm not trying to call out my fellow Huskers, just make lighthearted, fun, and entertaining content. But here are some of the comments. Are you ready?
Yeah, let's do it.
Why are you gorgeous?
I mean, it's a fair question.
Let's talk genetics.
Why can't I be as gorgeous as you?
F them. We love you. Iowa's better. If they are offended by this, then they are soft. I will always back you, Jess.
Yes.
Damn, bro. Why can't you be my dream? Okay, that's when we're going to stop.
Reality.
Stop reading the comments.
The Iowa's better.
So this is sarcastic, by the way. Don't anybody read into this. I believe her when she said she was just trying to have some fun because she's really good friends with the football players.
Yeah,
and maybe a couple of them were like, "Oh man, it's camp. Camp is not supposed to be fun.
No.
Okay, camp is supposed to be grueling. It's supposed to test you mentally and physically." And she was probably just having a little fun. But I guarantee that because of her status as a social media star, this is going to get out. And the next thing you know is Matt Rule is going to have to
buy her breakfast.
Well, no, they're going to have to serve like hard ice cream. No more soft serve at the training table.
It's still got ice chips on it and everything. That like the narrative though.
Crunchy?
And look, hey, some of this has been our fault though.
Whoa. Why are we taking the blame for this? I had nothing to do with Jess Gardner.
I didn't do a damn thing.
Not us in this room.
Jimmy, this is Nick's problem.
That's fine. That's fine.
Hey, here's a shovel.
You know what? No. Because I have not been down to Lincoln during the post-practice media opportunities, but it's still being talked about even yesterday. How's the dorms? Who's your roommate? How the dorms? And you finally got a Nate Borkacher who flat out said, yeah, it sucks. But there was a but there. I mean, from the first practice on to yesterday, it's still a conversation. So we're pushing this whole, hey, because I get it. The dorm thing is new. We haven't seen it. So we're all very fascinated about how the players are adjusting to it, how their response is. But the fact that it's still out there and you got a couple guys that are, even when they talk about they understand the purpose behind it, they talk about, oh, my bed sucks, but the mattress was nice. Or, yeah, doing this is not great, but we get why we are doing it. I think if you just kind of read that and you sort of pick and choose, I'm not saying this is what Jess Gardner did because she has more inside knowledge because she knows these guys, but I feel like even your average person that is kind of hearing more about the dorm life are probably like, why these guys keep complaining about it? Well, it's not really they're complaining about it. They keep being asked about it. It's constantly a story. That's what I'm looking forward to after 2 weeks. We won't have to ask that question anymore because they're going to be out of the dorms.
I think it's lazy that we're asking that question.
It was asked almost to every guy yesterday. And then there's the follow-up of, who's your roommate?
That's kind of interesting because they did offensive and defensive guys.
Yeah.
Well, the whole phrase is, I want you to become comfortable with being uncomfortable. The camp is not supposed to be fun.
Right.
All right. They went hard for the first couple of days when they're running as much reps in practice as they are. So I don't think guys are whining. They're probably adjusting because I do know that the way camp is being run, and it's not like it's, we're the, what's the Bear Bryant movie?
Junction Boys.
We're not Junction Boys here.
Salt tablets.
But it's a little bit, it's different. And it should be different. You were 4-8 last year.
Right.
You want to do the same thing and be 4-8 again?
I thought the dorms were nicer.
See, I know. I think it's just it's that time. Everybody does this. You're going to hear this, either the high school teams are practicing now or maybe not next week because the weather is supposed to be like in the 70s here. But people the first week of a camp that's an adjustment to the body. So this
Which
is
is
all
good.
what she did is all in fun. But around here, this will take off. Now I'm thinking maybe I shouldn't even mention it.
Go on the message board. That damn Sharp said. You hear what he said?
It wasn't me. It was her.
Apparently, student athletes are calling out the football team for being soft.
My column.
She has 221,000 followers on TikTok.
That's significant.
Just scrolling through, she has had a hot girl summer. She has been everywhere.
She's probably heard of the Margarita song. She's on TikTok.
Excuse me?
Yeah. That's what I think of to this day.
All right, let's talk about Halloween candy that I saw in the grocery store yesterday.
Yeah, by the way, what the F? What the F?
Thank you. It's
August.
What do we get?
Oh, there's Christmas stuff at some of the craft stores.
What do we got? 12 weeks till Halloween?
Yeah.
There is
running
it's not just
spots.
pumpkin spice.
No,
there
it's
is Halloween candy now that are taking up aisles.
It's a section at I saw it at Hy-Vee. You also have, I've noticed Oktoberfest beer is already up. Come on.
Pumpkin coffees are out.
And blame pumpkin spice.
Wait, is the pumpkin lattes now out?
No. That's usually around the start of football season. That's how I always knew it.
That's what I just
candy beat lattes.
Good Lord.
All right. That was a good transition there. All right. Thanks, Jess. 7:21. Update with Jimmy is coming up here in a little bit. More from yesterday. And also, as we close in on 66 teams in the SEC, 66 teams in the Big Ten in Notre Dame. That's what college football is going to look like.
Conference Pangea.
Hitting F5. Arizona is leaning towards the Big 12. Arizona State, Washington, Oregon, Stanford, California, Utah. Sorry, Washington State, Oregon State. There's no appeal to you. And remember when academics mattered? Remember when we were all, Nebraska's
They're
not
not
in
the AAU.
Well, okay. Academics used to matter.
Yep.
What would you rather have? A school that brings revenue in terms of on the field or a gigantic research university?
I would like the revenue.
I like money.
So there's Oregon against like Stanford and Stanford/Cal. Academics used to matter.
Then
do
the Stanford
academics,
alum,
do
go on and then
academics still matter?
Not since James Caan said when was the last time 80,000 people showed up to watch a kid do
take a damn
chemistry experiment.
chemistry experiment. Why don't you take the bow tie and shove it up? Yeah, that's what he says. I didn't finish it.
There'd be a lot of pressure if that you were doing a chemistry experiment and 80,000 people showed up to watch
Can
it.
you imagine that?
It's going to blow up.
Yeah. I mean, think about Billy Madison when they're doing the little competition at the end. I mean, you just had a classroom watching you do that.
Hey,
Those spelling bees were tough.
That ACT, I thought it was difficult as well because I thought everybody was cheating off me. And so everybody's watching me. Or maybe they were watching me because they think I was cheating.
They thought you were cheating.
I'm not really sure there. All right, 7:23. Update with Jimmy coming up. Mike Schaefer an hour away. His thoughts on what he has seen and heard through the first couple of days of camp and Cruton news as well. Nebraska got some great news yesterday. It's Mornings with Sharp and Handley on 1620 The Zone.
Gary Sharp, Nick Handley, and Jimmy Chavez. Mornings with Sharp and Handley. Weekdays 6 to 10. On 1620 The Zone and 1620thezone.com. Mornings on 1620 The Zone is brought to you by MD West One Orthopedics, Neurosurgery, and Spine. The Connor Happer Show.
The Netflix television show Quarterback is looking for quarterbacks. Sounds like Burrow's signed up for season 2.
How about Russell Wilson?
Hey, thanks for holding the door open for me at the facility every morning. Have you ever thought about changing everything about this door, man? You just got to wake up, get your boots on the ground, stay positive, and you will open a new door to life.
Be a horrible watch. I would hate watch that.
The Connor Happer Show. Weekdays from 10 to 2 on 1620 The Zone. Your Omaha area forecast from a Godfather's Pizza Weather Center and KETV News Watch 7 on 1620 The Zone.
More fog this morning, giving way to mostly cloudy skies for your Friday. Staying humid, a high of 82, but feeling like the mid and upper 80s. 40% chance for pop-up showers and thunderstorms as we head throughout your Friday afternoon. And again tonight, up to 50% chance for storms. Threats being gusty winds and large hail. Low tonight of 70 degrees. I'm meteorologist Caitlin Harvey with KETV News Watch 7.
This hour is powered by Dollar General Distribution Center in Blair, Nebraska on 1620 The Zone. 1620 The Zone. Traffic.
From the Backlund Plumbing Time-Saving Traffic Center. We have no accidents to report at this time, but you can expect a little bit of slowdown near 149th on Industrial Road. On Center, there's a little bit of a delay from 175th all the way to 165th. And on Dodge, things are going to be slowing down just a little bit from 94th to 90th. As always, remember to stay safe and wear your seatbelts. I'm Chris Scott. This time-saving traffic was brought to you by Lus Hills Harley-Davidson.
It doesn't matter if you live in Iowa, Nebraska, 10 miles away, or 200. There's only one place to go for all your Harley-Davidson parts and service, general merchandise, new and used motorcycles. Lus Hills Harley-Davidson. Rise up and ride on.
Attention homeowners, are you ready to unleash the power of savings? J-Tech Construction and Solar, the official exterior experts of the Huskers, has an exclusive offer. Purchase any 2 trades from our winning lineup of services: windows, doors, siding, roofs, gutters, and solar, and receive a 10% discount on your entire purchase. Click yourexteriorexperts.com to schedule your free consultation today. Double up on savings and save with J-Tech Construction and Solar, the official exterior experts of the Huskers. Click yourexteriorexperts.com.
Same location, new name, First Class Woodhouse Service. That's the new Woodhouse Chevy Omaha, 112th and Dodge. For 50 years, it's been where Omaha goes to find new roads to their next new Chevy. Come see Woodhouse Chevy's full selection and experience the Woodhouse difference with their knowledgeable, friendly staff. Plus, there's Woodhouse.com, a place where you can do much of the car buying experience online. Summertime is the right time for your new Chevy from Woodhouse Chevy, 112th and Dodge in Omaha, and I-29 exit 75 Missouri Valley. Woodhouse.com.
Peerless Energy Systems is Nebraska and Iowa's locally owned and operated authorized solar air compressor distributor. Peerless Energy Systems provides products and solutions for compressed air systems, helping companies in manufacturing, food processing, transportation, auto body repair, car dealers, and more. Driving industry efficiency through service, support, and relationships. Let Peerless Energy Systems help you increase efficiency with your compressed air systems today. PeerlessEnergy.com.
Omaha Maverick single game tickets are on sale now for volleyball and soccer. The volleyball team takes on Iowa State, Kansas, and Creighton, and the soccer team plays Creighton, Oklahoma, UC Irvine, and Oral Roberts. Be a part of the action and get your tickets today by calling the box office at 402-554-MAVS or by going to omavs.com/tickets. Season tickets are also still available. The seat you purchase today will be better than the seat you can buy tomorrow. Get your tickets now and go Mavs.
Staples has big savings on everything you need for back to school or stocking up the office. Save on signs, banners, and posters from Staples Print and Marketing Services. Save on everything you need for travel, like luggage, tech, and travel-size personal items. Plus, save on all your school essentials, from notebooks to markers. Now at Staples, you can save even more with $25 back in rewards on your in-store purchase of $75 or more. Get everything for the office and the classroom for less at Staples. Ends 8/5. Redeemable in-store only. Rewards members only.
Equitable Bank. We take banking personally. EquitableOnline.com.
And we're back. Mornings with Sharp and Handley. Here's Gary, Nick, and Jimmy on 1620 The Zone.
Alexis Markowski notches her second consecutive double-double with game highs of 19 points and 14 rebounds to lead the Nebraska women's basketball team to a 111-48 win over the Patras All-Stars in Greece yesterday. They're out the record when those two get together. Markowski hit 6 of 14 shots from the field, including 3 of 5 threes, while knocking down 4 of 6 from the foul line. She also grabbed 8 offensive rebounds and snagged 4 steals in less than 20 minutes. Pretty efficient. Graduate transfer Darian White finished just shy of a double-double with 15 points, 9 rebounds, while adding 5 assists and 3 steals. Junior guard Kendall Moriarty matched White's 15 points and 5 assists. The duo combined hit 12 of 17 shots from the field. Jazz Shelley scored 13, hauled down 4 rebounds, 2 assists, 2 steals, and the Huskers will conclude their 3-game tour of Greece Monday against the Crete All-Stars at 11 a.m. You betcha. Hey, speaking of basketball, Omaha basketball released their full season schedule on Thursday. If you're tracking where Gary's going to be this fall and winter, the 30-game schedule features 16 games against Summit League opponents, 14 non-cons, including a matchup with number 22 TCU. Mavericks open the season at home when they host Doane on November 6th before hitting the road to face the Horned Frogs November 11th and North Texas November 16th. After that, a 3-game tournament in Colorado Springs from November 17th through 19th. They first take on Air Force, followed by Lindenwood and Bill and Mary. Omaha will then have a 3-game homestand against Mid-American Christian on November 22nd, York November 27th, Bellevue on the 30th, followed by another trip to Texas where they'll face Texas Tech on the 6th of December and Corpus Christi down by the bay on December 9th. After their second Texas road trip, teams back at Baxter Arena for 3 games, starting with Stetson. Smells good on December 17th and Cal Poly on the 21st. The third game will be the Summit League opener against Denver on December 29th. And then the Mavs will spend New Year's Eve in South Dakota with a matchup with the Coyotes. Omaha brings in the new year with its final 2 non-conference games of the season. They host Northern Arizona January 3rd at Idaho State on January 6th at Bender. And from there, it is Summit League matches the rest of the way. So excited about that. New Year's Eve in South Dakota, but you have some good road trips.
Oh, you know what? The original schedule had Omaha staying in South Dakota and playing in Brookings on the 2nd.
Okay. Watching bowl games and
New Year's Eve in South Dakota, New Year's Day in South Dakota.
Heck yeah!
Thankfully, they moved that game.
Oh. Yes. Picture Paulie.
Man, you're soft.
Yeah, I'm okay to admit on that case. Yeah. You know what the current coaching staff in Omaha thinks of South Dakota?
Mm-hmm.
We did not stay in Vermilion or Brookings. Crutch was like, we are staying in Sioux Falls, and we stayed right next to the mall.
Oh yeah,
stayed in a really nice hotel.
Even better.
It was like, no, we are not. I've heard about stories. Now they may have come from the radio guy. Where we should stay.
Okay, so you urged them.
So we did not stay in Vermilion or Brookings. So yes, we are not spending New Year's Eve or New Year's Day in South Dakota. They took that off. They moved that game, thankfully. All right, so here in studio, today is 24 Hours in Nebraska on Big Ten Network. Some of the features, the Tunnel Walk feature, the Hail Mary game feature, the Brooke Behringer feature, and then some of the best games that Nebraska's played are going to be shown all day. And then they're going to do a live at Nebraska's camp, their first stop on the BTN bus tour at 3 o'clock today. But before they get to that, and I think that starts in the next hour, they are showing it's Michigan State Classic. So they just showed the 15 game in Ann Arbor, which Michigan State won on the mishandled punt.
The poor Michigan
Crazy game. And then that's where Surrender Cobra came from. With the Michigan fan in the stands. Yeah. What a wild game. But I remember that game even more so because I was doing Big Red Overreaction on that day. So it's the 17th of October. Nebraska was playing in Minneapolis against Minnesota, maybe one of the most dominant from start to finish performances that a Mike Riley team ever had.
Yeah.
I mean, there was no drama whatsoever in that game. They went up to Minnesota. Newbie was running wild. Tommy had a really good day, and they blew out Minnesota. So that's a good Big Red Overreaction. Mm-hmm. But we're doing it while that game is on. And we're watching it while we're taking calls and discussing the game. And then also the Royals were playing in the ALCS that day against the Blue Jays. That was game number 2. So you had a lot of stuff going on. But I remember we were on air. It might have been Josh and myself. We're doing the show. And all of a sudden, the mishandled punt happened and Michigan State wins at the buzzer. And we were just going nuts. We were like doing the play-by-play of that game. So every time I see the 15 Classic, I think of that. But the reaction of the Michigan State fans in the stands, they didn't know what to do.
Yeah, other than the obvious kid. The poor kid.
But most of the fans were like, they looked like Bo after the Hail Mary against Northwestern. They didn't know what to do.
Yeah.
They were stunned.
Well, and I'm trying to put myself in their shoes because because they kept showing like the sprinkled in Michigan State fans that existed in the big house. And I mean, they're just losing their mind. They can't believe what they just saw. So they're jumping up and down. And you would think like if it's a hostile rivalry, which I don't know if Michigan State necessarily tease off on each other the way obviously Michigan and Ohio State do. But you've got these guys right next to you that are just jumping up and down, and every bit of you wants to just like lash out. But every person they showed with a couple of Michigan State fans jumping up and down, you just saw Michigan fans just dumbfounded. Not one of them looked like even pissed off. That was the thing. Like, not one of them even looked like they were just raging, fuming anger. I don't think they understood what actually happened. And then you're probably, is there a flag somewhere? Is something going to negate this? Like, it just dumbfounded look while you've got all these people just jumping up and down, just absolutely reveling in the moment. Not one of them looked mad because, 80, 90,000, over 100,000, however many Michigan fans compared to Michigan State fans were completely feeling the exact same thing, dumbfounded.
Late last night, Arizona, they have the Big 12 presidents have approved adding Arizona. Arizona is heavily leaning towards joining the Big 12. They can say thank you to Lute Olson. Arizona is getting in because of men's basketball. You know who is going to be a big winner out of all of this? And the Big 12 is not a football conference. They are a men's basketball conference. Kansas City.
Yep.
Can you imagine?
Oh, man.
Can you imagine what the
is going to be unreal.
Men's basketball? Now, the women's basketball tournament is already pretty good, but the men's basketball tournament in Kansas City is going to be like when they get the music stops and everybody gets into the Big 12 and they get to 16.
Buy 8 tickets now, sell them.
They've
a lot of money.
They've got to come out. Like, Notre Dame's going to be a winner out of this. We'll get to Notre Dame because I don't think we can quit Notre Dame, even though we try. But Kansas City hosting the men's basketball tournament is going to be a gigantic winner with the quality of basketball that is going to be in the Big 12.
Yeah, the tournament itself is, I don't know how you guys feel. I think I still think it's the best conference tournament because it's been in that spot since Power and Light and Sprint Center opened. So from day one,
shout out Iowa State fans. They make the atmosphere.
Absolutely. You got Iowa State fans. Obviously, Kansas travels extremely well, and they own that place too. But I mean, even K-State, you get a lot of the traveling parties, but you have the perfect setup to accommodate all the fan bases. And then it just so happens you get damn good basketball. The consistency with that tournament, the level of play that you see beyond just one or two teams in that conference tournament. And now, you're going to add Arizona too to that mix?
I loved covering that. That is one of the things I do miss is I got to cover that for many years.
Well,
and Houston's on the rise now too.
Well, they separated it. They used to have, the women go the week before now.
Yeah,
they used to have
starting next year. They're going to go same weekend.
Yeah, they had them going at the same time.
Yep.
Where they would be over a municipal auditorium, and now the women are going earlier because they're going to be all at T-Mobile. But the men's basketball tournament, when they get finalized and they're adding Arizona, and Colorado is okay. It's going to be must watch. Yeah. Now, here's what also I think happens with when the music stops and the Big Ten looks different. The Pac-12 probably is not going to be wanted in Vegas or whatever is left of the Pac-12.
Yeah.
So what does that do? That opens up for in the rotation, the Big Ten tournament. If you add Oregon and Washington and maybe 2 others, but if you have 4 on the West Coast, you don't think the Big Ten is going to make a stop in Vegas for their conference basketball tournament here in the next 5 to 7 years?
Oh, yeah.
Be foolish not to.
You got
a lot of alums out there.
You're taking advantage of new territory? Absolutely. I mean, even if it's something that you do in a rotational standpoint, which I'm assuming that's what it would be.
You're a coast-to-coast conference.
You have to. You have to sort of plant your flag when it comes to your championship events in just about every section of the country.
Go see the Sphere.
It's just wild to think about that. Now that you have, the USC UCLA, which officially made the Big Ten a bi-coastal conference, to think about just those 2 schools. That was crazy enough to kind of wrap your head around. Now that you have 4 in that section of the country too, and as we kind of talked about a little bit earlier today and yesterday of how that's going to change scheduling as well. This is all inevitable. This is going to happen. So now looking at the possibilities of where you see championship events, how the Big Ten tries to sort of maximize promoting the conference, its new look conference. The sky's the limit. And you have now a market right there that is showing that they are embracing sports by the day, by the year, what they are doing. It's not just, the playground for adults anymore in Las Vegas. Like,
it'd be an event. They embrace those events. Like
absolutely.
The basketball stuff, they embrace the events. I'm hearing, this is one of the other things I got in Indianapolis. So trying to figure out a 16-team basketball schedule. Now you might have an 18-team basketball schedule. They may adopt what the Pac-12 does. where you go with the double headers. So you have travel partners and you're playing Thursday, Saturday, Wednesday, Saturday, along those lines. That might be easier to do when you start looking at basketball schedule. If you've wondered if Oregon is going anywhere, I got tipped onto this. And so I started to go through pictures of recruiting visits.
Oh,
I don't know how far back this goes, but Oregon has stopped putting their recruits in jerseys when they visit that have the Pac-12 logo.
Yep. Saw that last night.
So I don't know, Jimmy, how long it goes back, but somebody texted me and they said, hey, look at these pictures. What do you notice? And one I noticed, because I recognized one of the kids, I'm like, that's a stud. He committed to him. And then they're like, no, look at their jerseys, their game jerseys that they're wearing, but their game jerseys where the Pac-12 logo has been removed.
Insert conference here.
That would be funny if it actually went as far as doing that.
So what gives you more of an insight that a team may change conferences? Their board of regents are meeting, or the football program with recruits is not talking about the current conference that they are in.
That right there.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Because they're going to be very transparent. Here's what's going on. This is where you'll be playing. Because these things matter. Are you going to be able to watch me on TV if I go to Oregon? Yes. Let me tell you why.
You think about your recruiting strategies, and that's a very proactive approach.
We already watched Ted Lasso. We don't have Apple. Don't worry about it.
Hey,
by the way, they have until the end of business today.
Morning show.
Yay or nay on Apple TV. Oh, George. You're not Larry Scott, but I'm sorry that the Big Ten killed the Pac-12, and then the Big 12 is just eating up the carcass.
Yeah.
When they could have both joined in harmony.
Well, at some point we are going to do a retrospective, like a 30 for 30 on
it's a 2-hour
conference realignment.
Yep.
There is really only one guy that I want to hear interviewed. Larry Scott.
Yep.
Larry Scott is the only guy I want to hear interviewed. I don't want to hear Jim Delaney. I don't want to hear Kevin Warren.
No Dan Beebe.
No Dan Beebe. Larry Scott is the number one guy I want to hear. Now Beebe can slide in after Scott gets done.
Okay.
But Larry, if you could file criminal charges, would Larry Scott be on trial?
That's where it started.
When you set things in motion a certain way. So
he had the first super conference in his hand. He was at the 5-yard line and he fumbled it.
So guys, remember we were talking about this in 2011 where the Pac-12 stood. Okay, so this is a direct quote from the Pac-12 press release with everything that was going on. So it said, it was tweeted out last night by Kyle Bonagera from ESPN. And just to give you an idea of where things were really just 12 years ago. A day after conference expansion, Armageddon was avoided with the Pac-12 taking a pass on Oklahoma and Texas. Commissioner Larry Scott was in good cheer. And why not? Scott's conference still has the richest TV deal and is the most unified and stable in the nation. Quote, we could have expanded, but the deal didn't make any sense at the end of the day for us, especially given the position that we are in. There's a very high bar. It's hard to imagine very many scenarios for our conference to expand because the bar is so high. That was from Larry Scott in the Pac-12 in 2011. So let that sink in for a moment.
He's been charged with dropping the ball. The awkwardness of this season is the Pac-12 is set up to have one of its best storyline seasons, the best quarterback collection in college football. They could have a national champion out of that league, and nobody wants to talk football because everybody is leaving.
Yeah,
they are exiting at a fast pace.
That could be the Pac-2 by Monday.
I mean, because now it's become, and I get this, and I heard Jake Diekert, the head coach of Washington State, speak yesterday, and you're not appealing to TV. I'm sorry, that's the harsh reality. Is Washington State is not appealing to TV. It's just not. You don't have good enough academics that we like, okay, I'll consider it. But Washington State has also done a poor job. And I wonder, a school like Washington State that already has some financial issues, could a Division I athletic program go bankrupt? Could they go belly up?
It's a tough place to get to. Also.
You already have financial issues, and now you're not going to have that large stream of cash that you want. But what we've all learned is you always follow the money.
Yep.
And in this day and age, as the fabric of college athletics is torn apart and repurposed, it's everybody for themselves.
Yep.
You're not in it for your conference anymore, unless you're inside of the SEC or the Big Ten.
Right.
Or you've been given a lifeline to the Big 12. It is everyone for themselves, and you look out for yourselves, and you don't trust anybody.
Mhm.
You don't go, hey, we're all in this together, us 9, we'll stick together, Apple is our best friend. No. You are separate. You basically have to handle yourself as an independent. And that's why I asked the question out loud, do we need conferences for football? We need conferences for other sports, but do we need conferences for football? Because essentially they kind of hang around because of tradition.
Yeah.
But do we need conferences for football?
No, because you're going to, the ultimate goal here for any football program to maximize their on-field brand value-wise, because through the TV revenue that you're able to get. And you're telling me that if you did away with conferences, that all of a sudden these big money TV deals would go away? Hell no, they'd get even more lucrative.
I mean,
So-
what happens in a couple of years when Alabama and Georgia and Texas, they all like, you mean there's a possibility for more money out there if we form a super conference?
Right. Yep. Right.
Hello.
Because as much as like some of the old school resistance that you hear about, the game has never been more popular. I mean, with everything that's going on.
I
and-
still love the game.
Absolutely. And what would we even talk about for like the last week of, God,
it ain't 2007.
Can we please get here? Can we please get to a game? But there is intrigue. These athletes, what they are now, well, first of all, you're able to retain guys.
Hey, I disagree with that. I don't think the majority of people think the game of college football is in a better spot than it was from 2000 to 2010.
I'd go back there if you.
I mean, 2007 is one of the greatest years and
Yeah.
craziest years in the history of the sport.
I enjoyed that.
But in that decade, there was the introduction of the spread offense
Yeah.
and other things. I don't. My personal belief is I don't think the game is good. I don't think the game is better than it's been.
Yeah. I still love it, but I get very nostalgic for that era that you're talking about.
And from
even
that
before.
standpoint, and I think that's probably going to be a matter of how people look at it. But I would go off of, and again, I don't have it in front of me, but I would like to see where TV ratings viewership is right now. But again, it's a tough one because now everything's more accessible for them. But I think more than anything, the bottom line is people are still paying attention at a very high level with college football. Networks understand the value of the sport. Networks that are positioning themselves to make that investment into this product continues to skyrocket. So if there is an opportunity to do something that's just completely going to change college football, we haven't already done that, and you do away with conferences, which would just be, it would be crazy to think about, but everything, all the momentum of college football, again, just college football in general, is all headed down that type of path where either you're equipped to do it, you're equipped to hang financially as a athletic department. This kind of goes back to your point about Washington State, or you're not. And if you're not, yeah, you can still go play football. You can do it at a different level, but here's what we got for you. Here's basically, we're splitting the country down in half. You got your, just to use an example, you got basically your very large AFC and your very large NFC when it comes to college football, Power 5 college football. And you got no conferences. You got just a college football Power 5 product that is going to be split up in some type of conference, and then you've got interdivisions. I don't see how this thing stays where it is with the radical movement that we have seen and where we continue to see it. I mean, conferences don't mean anything in college football. We've learned that. If we hadn't already learned that, we're getting another great reminder of it right now.
Channel 3 Sean tweets in, the Pac-12 really kind of died when they didn't partner with either Fox or ESPN when they created their network.
Yeah.
I mean, the Big Ten has to take some credit in throwing one of the last blows. UCLA, USC, come on down. So we are headed, and I still think it's not as full speed with the Big Ten. But if there's an announcement over the weekend that Oregon and Washington are joining the Big Ten, Are you like, yes? Or are you like, how will that affect my team?
Yeah.
Volleyball could be incredible.
Mm-hmm.
This goes back to what you said
It's going to
earlier.
force us to be better.
Mhm.
Baseball will get a boost.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Baseball is
So-
one of the
so
first
you
things
go,
I thought of.
man, we won. Yes. Or do you go, okay, now what does Nebraska have to do?
Yeah.
Does Oregon change their court? Is that a condition?
I think that if you're a Nebraska fan, if you're an Iowa fan, if you're anybody in the Big Ten, Ohio State, Michigan, I think there's a part of you that feels, I don't even want to go as far as saying conference pride, but you feel at least you're on the winning side of everything that's going on. You're not involved in the conference that's falling apart. So there's always going to be a little bit of that satisfaction. But then I do think it completely goes right back to your team of how does this affect my team? How does this affect all of our sports? What sports stand to get better? And what sports now are going to be a little bit more challenged? And are they in a position currently with the coaching staff and everybody that they have in place, are they in a position to be a big player in this new look conference?
Final one here, and we got to take a quick break. Equitable Bank inbox. Steve writes in about the discussion of the 2000s as the decade that I miss, which I do. I don't know. Maybe the quality of players is better, but the sport is not in a good spot. I said spread offense.
Mm-hmm.
It came alive. He writes in, he goes, a couple of things. He goes, wasn't the drip so much better back then? Because everybody was either wearing tinted visors, cowboy collars, crop top jerseys were still fairly common. A lot of teams had some amazing uniform combos that they should seriously go back to. Heck, dudes were still rocking flat tops and buzz cuts in 2003, and I could watch Boise State stun Oklahoma in the Fiesta Bowl. And I don't even care about either one of those teams. Also, I would stay up late at night to watch Colt Brennan against some random whack opponent.
Rest in peace.
Yeah.
Yeah. No,
Give me back my FSN Big 12 game of the week.
I love the drip part. Yeah. And you remember that was like when discussing alternate uniforms and how that was such a big topic because it was only Oregon that was really having the more than 2 or 3 sets and how, that's how they're going to kill everybody in recruiting because people want to play for teams that have alternate uniforms. Do you see the visor on that dude? Oh man, that looks tough. It's true.
And even compare the Oregon uniforms then to now.
I believe this is when the skinny wristbands came out too. But I always wondered what is the purpose of these things other than they're a really cool accessory.
All right, 52 past the hour. Mike Schaefer's coming up in the next hour. We'll talk fullbacks. And big offensive tackles. That's what we're going to talk about with Schaefer. And then with Vers, we'll talk about losing weight.
Mm-hmm.
Without Ozempic.
Yeah. Full circle.
Yeah. It's Mornings with Sharp and Handley on 1620 The Zone.
Hey, when it comes to convenience in choosing your next vehicle, Woodhouse Mazda has the best experience for you because you can go online. You can obviously check inventory. You can browse through all the different models that you're looking for and all the different things that you value in a vehicle. But best yet, you can now start your deal. So you don't actually have to go into the showroom. Everything is to your convenience. Woodhouse Mazda makes that convenience there. Also is going as far as delivering your vehicle. So if you're just having one of those weeks where you want to make it easy on yourself, or hey, life happens, WoodhouseMazda.com or WoodhousePlaceMazda.com is where you need to go. But always encourage you to check out their state-of-the-art showrooms. They've got one on 144th and Giles in West Omaha and also in Bellevue. And when it comes to shopping Woodhouse Mazda and their CUV lineup, I'm encouraging you to check out the Mazda CX-90. Look, summer is not over yet, and you might still have some road trips coming up, some more summer vacation coming up. Well, this is the perfect CUV that is going to allow you to do so in comfort. It's got 3 rows, even a plug-in hybrid option. It is that perfect vehicle for those summer adventures with plenty of room, the latest infotainment technology, and safety features. Get out to Woodhouse Mazda. Shop online if that's what you want to do too with that convenience. Whatever your style of buying a car, Woodhouse Mazda is going to accommodate you with a always knowledgeable, friendly, no-pressure sales experience. It's Woodhouse Mazda, a drive worth experiencing.
Mornings with Sharp and Handley on 1620 The Zone and 1620thezone.com. For the Jays, the Huskers, and even you Jayskers, we are 1620 The Zone.
Watching a ball game at Oscar's Pizza and Sports Grill is pretty awesome. Oscar's offers the MLB package, so your team is always on their upgraded audio-video system, and nothing is better than watching the game with a cold frosty one, Oscar's Pizza, or award-winning char-buffed wings. And with daily lunch and dinner specials, it's really a no-brainer. So get ready to watch your favorite team play ball at Oscar's Pizza and Sports Grill, 173rd and West Center Road, and takeout at 162nd and Maple.
United Way of the Midlands is celebrating 100 years of helping others in the Omaha Council Bluffs Metro. Since 1923, United Way has been creating a circle of support to help our neighbors in need overcome challenges and build a brighter future. Through funded programs and direct services, United Way helps meet families' essential needs, such as healthy food, safe and stable housing, healthcare, and more. If you'd like more information on how to get involved and support United Way, go to unitedwaymidlands.org.
It's the most time-honored tradition to start the weekend, grabbing a cold one from a local Nebraska brewery. Let's be real here. It's hot outside, and you don't want to drink the same boring beer as those Hawkeye fans. Drink icy cold, Nebraska-brewed beers, cider, or seltzers instead. Each week, we're putting the spotlight on a unique Nebraska brewery with One Beer Friday. Share your brew on social media with the hashtag One Beer Friday, and you'll be entered to win a $25 gift card to a local Nebraska brewery. Nebraska is the good life with great beer. Click nebraska.beer to learn more.
Whoa, Sandra. So in less than a week, you'll have
my forklift operator certificate.
And Joseph, you're quick to
respond. Yeah, with my degree in paramedicine, I'll be a
first responder. Cool. Bella, where are you off to?
Just knocking out my gen eds before
transferring to the university. Smart way to say, Bella. Get up to speed with your me time. On campus, online, on your schedule. Get started at mccneb.edu/me. Classes start September 5th.
This is me at MCC.
Don't miss the Vallis 39-hour flash sale celebrating their 39-year anniversary. Thursday at 7 a.m. through Friday at 10 p.m. Friday through Sunday tickets are $32.99 and season passes are $69.99 per person. With more than 50 attractions included with admission, Vallis Pumpkin Patch and Apple Orchard has something fun for all ages. Visit VallisPumpkinPatch.com to cash in on the savings during their 39-hour anniversary flash sale.
Paid for by Maxiderm Labs.
Man, on a scale of 1 to 10, how would you rate your performance in the bedroom? If you're a 5, take it to 10. If you're a 10, why not take it up to 15? With Maxiderm Power Surge. Maxiderm's new Power Surge Red Pill makes you more potent than you or your partner ever imagined. It's like going from a sedan to a supercharged high-performance sports car. And it works fast. Just minutes. And now you can try it free. Just call 1-800-418-4697. If you thought being a 10 was great in the bedroom, just imagine what a 20 must be like. Experience off-the-scale virility with Maxiderm's new Red Pill Power Surge. You'll never want to go back to being just a 10. Call 1-800-418-4697 now to experience male enhancement supercharged. 1-800-418-4697 for your free trial and ask about our VIP club rewards. Hurry, this offer is limited. Call 1-800-418-4697.
These statements have not been evaluated by the Food and Drug Administration. This product is not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease.
1620 The Zone at 1620thezone.com. And we're back. Mornings with Sharp and Handley. Here's Gary, Nick, and Jimmy on 1620 The Zone.
What do you think the hesitation on Stanford is?
They want to play school.
Yep.
But athletically,
is this
they're pretty good at? People forget that.
Athletically, from top to bottom,
they're Olympic sports as well.
They don't they win the Learfield or Sears
Yes, they
Cup?
do.
Yeah,
nearly every year.
If they don't, if they're out of the top 5, it's
Nobody
there's
goes to their
questions.
football games, but they win a lot of stuff.
Mhm. Good friends, the
But
marketing
there's
director out there.
But there's not an automatic. Hey, let's bring in Stanford.
No.
I do push back because when Stanford is brought up and this discussion about, TV is running the world is, well, look, you get the 5th largest television market. Okay, that's great. But do people in the Bay Area watch Stanford and Cal?
Their games are not
They
even
just
on radio
happen to
in some
be
places.
the 5th largest television market. But do people watch? Do people make it a priority in San Francisco to watch Stanford football every single Saturday? No. Okay. So
Not even the
that's
residents of Palo Alto.
But, you could sell that apparently to a television executive if it came to that. Hey, look, we've got the 5th largest television market. Now, the report last night, Washington and Oregon would be looking at 35 to 40 million coming in.
Which is about about 15 million less as far as the partial share. Yeah.
There was a report that there's a hesitation at Washington because of the logistics of travel. Would that be enough to take care of it?
I would think so.
Well, here, you're either going to play golf at Pebble Beach or you're going to the bingo hall. Where are you going? Okay.
And you can have some fun at the bingo hall.
Sure you can.
But Pebble is
but
prettier.
I like Pebble Beach. I think I would enjoy Pebble Beach more than going to the bingo hall.
Yeah, I probably would.
Now, remember,
cheaper beer at bingo hall. Though.
So if I'm reading the contract right, the television contract, so there's $1.2 billion that is going to be dispersed, and beginning next year, it's whether it's 16 teams or 20 teams, that's not changing.
Yeah.
What changes that if you are trying to sell the 14 that are here plus 2, that another 2 is okay?
Yeah.
That's
that cuts in your pie.
That's why the Big Ten can kind of slow play and then they just pick up the scraps.
Yeah.
They're kind of playing it really well. Terry writes in to finish this hour. Hi, guys, in the Equitable Bank inbox. All this musical chairs really shows the wisdom of Tom Osborne. You can see how Nebraska, people are really giving T.O. a lot of credit. He said people could see that T.O. knew that players would gamble on sports. Now Terry is giving him credit here. He could see how Nebraska had the potential to be looking for a crappy chair if Texas and Oklahoma bolted for a different conference. Wouldn't want to be Oregon State, Cal, or Stanford this morning. Tom could look in the future and see what we needed to be proactive. Wouldn't want to be Washington State.
Yeah.
Washington State and Oregon State are in trouble. That's a scary proposition. But even more so, in my opinion, Washington State, because they've been upside down financially for a while.
And they've been vocal about it. They're not hiding it.
And you're right. If anybody's been to Pullman, it's not easy to get to. You fly into Spokane and you're driving through the hills. And all of a sudden, it's a small town. It's a small school, small football stadium. What Martin Stadium is maybe 35. 35,000. Washington State athletics may be in trouble.
Yeah, you think about the FCS schools that depend on Power 5 paychecks when they get that. You think of not all Power 5 programs, athletic departments are ones that A, could afford to pay those out, but also B, stand to lose any type of TV deal. I mean, look, we kind of mock the $19 to $20 million deal that Apple could bring in the remaining Pac-12 if that ever happened, if that ever stayed together. There's a school that desperately needs that too.
Could Washington State be forced to play bye games?
Yeah. That's what's going to end up happening.
Isn't that crazy to think? Because, I mean, yeah. Do we have to get Washington State paydays?
A lot of mays are like meh on Oregon, Washington coming to the Big Ten. A little quick poll on people are chiming in. I said, would you be excited and go, man, the Big Ten is a winner? Or would you be like, that's the sound that makes. A lot of,
Yeah.
You get excited for the road trip every once in a while, but it's not like you're celebrating. Man, we get to go to Eugene.
Hey, you should be excited. You get a 4th TV window.
It's true.
Get the content.
That is very true.
NBC is going to get their wish. They're going to get primetime games no matter what.
Yep.
Even in November.
I'll reemphasize. I don't think many people are just beating their chest excited about this, unless you're a school that stands to profit from it. But I think in the arms race that is now conference realignment and being able to take whatever is left, but would still bolster your brand or at least be consistent with your brand when it comes to, especially if we're making this a football conversation specifically, then you're probably thinking, hey, if we had to add, I guess this is fine to add. But are you like through the moon, like excited, like this is a major victory? No, I don't feel that way. I don't know how many people would feel that way, because it does. It goes back to, how's this going to affect my school?
I just like making the noise.
You do well.
One more from Lego Maniac. He says, funny how people want to give Osborne credit for Nebraska moving to the Big Ten, but you'll never hear them make the same case for Perlman, even though he is just as much, if not more, responsible for it. Who is this Perlman fella?
Yeah, I don't even know who he's talking about.
She was on Cheers, right?
He was a
On
professor.
Friday. It's Mornings with Sharp and Handley on 1620 The Zone. Hey, because it is Friday, we're going into a weekend, and you may need a new vehicle. Well, Woodhouse Buick GMC is the place for you. Shop first, experience the difference. Large indoor showroom, 119th and I. No matter what the weather is, you can go inside and peruse comfortably. See the new and pre-owned inventory, and there is plenty of it, whether passenger vehicle, stylish SUV, capable truck to get the job done for business or for pleasure. They simply have something for everyone, and they have great deals right now. It's August. It's supposed to be warm. Hot deals right now at Woodhouse Buick GMC. You can save up to $5,000 off MSRP on a Sierra 1500. What about an Acadia? You can save up to $2,000 off MSRP, 1.9% APR for 36 months on that Acadia. Also, great lease offer on the Buick Encore GX, the 23 model, $299 a month, 39 months, 10,000 miles per year. For additional information, see dealer. These offers expire on September 5th. So shop Woodhouse Buick GMC first today. They got that huge indoor showroom and a sales staff that will go to work for you at 119th and I, in person or online anytime at WoodhouseBuickGMC.com. GMC, we are professional grade.
More with Gary and Nick after this on 1620 The Zone. 1620 The Zone. Traffic.
From the Backwin Plumbing Time-Saving Traffic Center. We have no accidents to report at this time, but you can expect a little bit of slowdown from 186 to 168th on Center. On Dodge, there's a minor delay from 94th to 90th, and on Highway 370, be prepared for a minor delay near 150th and the I-80 East ramp. As always, remember to stay safe and wear your seatbelts. I'm Chris Scott. This time-saving traffic is brought to you by Saul's Jewelry and Loan.
What does Saul's loan on? Almost everything, like jewelry, gold chains, bracelets, earrings, wedding rings, and high-end watches, guns, electronics, $10 to $50,000, super fast and easy with no credit check. Saul's loans on almost everything.
Happy birthday to us. That's right. We're turning 50 this year, and we're celebrating with you. Introducing my new birthday cake streusel, topped with vanilla cake and crunchy streusel, a swirl of white icing, and showered with rainbow sprinkles. Paired with our classic combo, the one that started it all, and your favorite one-topping pizza. Happy birthday feast. Enjoy one today. Godfather's Pizza. Do it.
Hey, folks, is your concrete in need of repair? Kent Pavelka here to talk about your local concrete experts and a Best of Omaha winner, Everlevel Concrete Repair. They can completely restore and repair your concrete at a fraction of the price compared to replacement and offer long-term transferable warranties. I'm so glad I chose Everlevel for my driveway. There's a reason they're a Best of Omaha winner. Give them a call for your free inspection. That's Everlevel, Everlevel, Everlevel. Try saying that 3 times fast.
The brand new Dollar General Distribution Center in Blair is now hiring. Starting wage is up to $22 per hour with benefits including medical, dental, vision, 401k, and a $2,000 sign-on bonus. Apply today by texting DG Warehouse to 25000 or online at dollargeneral.com/careers. Again, apply today by texting DG Warehouse to 25000 or online at dollargeneral.com/careers. Dollar General can't wait to have you become a team member at their brand new distribution center.
Hey everyone, Josh Peterson here from my friends at Miracle Hill Golf and Tennis. They have a brand new club fitter, Mark Bauman, their master club fitter at Miracle Hill Golf and Tennis, and he is fitting both Callaway and Titleist equipment. Plus, how about this? Demo events on Tuesday nights as well as Saturdays where you can try out the equipment and then schedule your own personalized fitting with Mark to get that equipment ordered. Give them a call today at 402-498-0220, Miracle Hill Golf and Tennis.
Mike Rowe here with a gentle reminder that civilization is held together by pipes, wires, and cables. It's true. There are over 5 million miles of gas lines, power lines, fiber optic lines, water lines, and sewer lines, all buried beneath your feet. And every 60 seconds, somebody digs into one. Look, if you're thinking about digging around, do yourself a favor and call 811 first just to find out what's down there. Trust me, you don't want to find out the hard way. Call or click 811 before you dig and visit safeexcavator.com for more info.
Don't miss this week's Zone Deal.
This week's half-off deal is $50 in vouchers for only $25 to Timber Creek Pizza Pub and Grill. Timber Creek Pizza Pub and Grill serves pizza with an unforgettable sauce and fresh ingredients and unique combinations of bold flavors. Visit Timber Creek's family-friendly dining environment while enjoying a popular adult beverage. Timber Creek Pizza Pub and Grill, 178th and Harrison.
Zone deals go fast. 9 a.m. Friday, 1620thezone.com. This hour is powered by Dollar General Distribution Center in Blair, Nebraska on 1620 The Zone. Let it fly. Your elevated sports bar experience. KOZ and Bellevue, Omaha, Council Bluffs. This is 1620 The Zone. Now back to mornings with Sharp and Handley on 1620 The Zone.
Halftime brought to you by Hart Cigars and Pipes Lounge, just off 680 and 48th Street, next to Cubby's. It's Hart Cigars and Pipes Lounge.
You guys watched the Savannah Bananas were on television last night.
Were they?
They were on ESPN2. I think a preview of the Ocho coming up in a couple of days. So they put the Bananas on last night. They were back in their home environment in Savannah, Georgia. So you got to see Banana Ball. I don't think it necessarily is good television product. In person, I guess it's amazing. They sold out in Kansas City, in Oklahoma City. They've been going on a whole tour, and they've been selling out from Sacramento to Oklahoma City. And they were in Kansas City, and I heard somebody drove down there, a big fan of the Savannah Bananas. And in person, it's incredible. It's like just a huge party. Watching it last night on TV, I just don't think it is a good television product. Like, you have a guy that's trying to be a little bit serious, doing the play-by-play, but a lot of the stuff that is going on, like the antics, are out of the camera view.
It's like Harlem Globetrotters.
Yeah, so I don't think it translates well to television. But it was on last night, and people probably were like, "Whoa, this is super, super cool." And ironically, so I don't know. Did you guys see how the Angels Mariners game ended up last night?
Just read about it a little bit ago. That's
so a typical Angels game.
Ohtani
hits a home run and steals a base, leaves with cramps, but he gets his 40th home run. The Mariners win it on a grand slam.
Yeah.
The guy that hit the grand slam used to be a Savannah Banana. When they had a summer league team.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
Cade Marlowe.
Yeah.
I had no idea who was a Savannah Banana.
So I'm wondering around here, and they're huge. They're popular. They're fun to watch. I mean, they become a TikTok sensation.
They're on the gram, Nick.
They are.
They
are. You cannot deny the Savannah Bananas are enormous.
It's a thing.
It's if you're very much a purist, you probably do not like it.
I'm not a
but
huge fan.
they have a huge audience of families and kids that make baseball cool. They're going to announce their schedule in October. I think, by the way, have they already, or are they coming this month? They're over in Des Moines.
Oh, really?
I think they're doing 2 days in Des Moines.
Okay.
So they're going to be back around the area. But I got to think that the old folks at Mecca, they try and get on the Savannah Bananas schedule for 2024.
Why not?
You don't think you could get a night? You don't think you could get a night or two downtown and get, I don't know, 10, 15,000 people to come watch the Savannah Bananas in Omaha?
I think they would.
I know that
I'd go.
Warner Park will never have them out there. I'm pretty sure that Marty would not allow that to happen. Even though if the Savannah Bananas were playing in Warner Park, they would sell the place out. But I don't think Marty wants to touch that. But why wouldn't the stadium downtown after the College World Series say, we'd like to host a couple of nights, and they get 10 to 15,000 people.
Yeah. Was Johnny Damon on one night with them too?
And Hunter Pence was made an appearance last week with them when they were out in California.
So that's the whole thing. Like, you never know who might jump on for the day. It's the way for people who don't even know what we're talking about. It's essentially kind of like a Harlem Globetrotters of baseball. I mean, you've got a lot of different antics in between pitches after the pitch. You've got guys that can play that clearly are skilled, but it's more of a entertaining the audience, very family friendly, in person. I think on TV, and it's, to me,
you hate it.
I don't like it. I don't. I have no problem. I have no problem. No, see, and he probably would like that. See, this is where I'd have to put like my personal interests aside and say, hey, would little dude like this? He probably would. as he's trying to develop habits, though. I wouldn't like all those crazy bat
You
flips and
got
stuff that he's trying to do.
You get the player that's on stilts that comes out and pitches.
Yeah. But it's just, to me, it's just kind of, it's supposed to be, I get it. It's just kind of a circus. It's hard to sort of like get completely like in awe of that. Like when I was, maybe growing up, I would be entertained by something like that. Because I saw the Harlem
It's only
Globetrotters
2
a couple
hours.
times. Yeah.
They score, they win. You can win innings. It's like the old CBA where you could win a quarter.
Yeah.
I make a bold prediction. In 2024, the Savannah Bananas will play in the Omaha area. I left myself a little wiggle room. They will play in the Omaha area in 2024. They announced their schedule in October.
They play like Tal Anderson if the Chuck doesn't work out.
I don't know. You turn a lot of your operation over to them, so I don't know if that would necessarily work.
Yeah. Yeah.
But come on, Mecca.
You
got nothing after the College World
exactly.
Series?
They've got open dates.
Yeah. But the Savannah Bananas will be in the Omaha area in 2024.
See, I was curious where you were with them too, having had an extensive history in baseball.
It's okay. I'm not. I would go.
It's entertainment.
It's an experience. But I was also in that world where in minor league baseball, as much as I love the sport, entertainment trumps baseball.
That's true.
The experience for the fans, family friendly, affordable,
Mm-hmm.
and they make it fun. And if that gets people playing baseball more,
yeah.
And then listen, the sport of baseball, in terms of the talent that is playing it from young to old, and people going through the turnstiles, especially now with the adjustment of the games are quicker at the major league level, never been better. Look at last weekend. That was one of the highest attended weekends in Major League Baseball in well over a decade. So baseball's in a really good spot. So I'm okay if they draw more people into the sport. Because people go there to be entertained.
Yeah.
They're not like, okay, let's see if that guy on the mound's going to throw 95.
Right.
Well, the guy I'm watching last night, who I think used to be in the Royals organization, left-hander, no sleeves. He's wearing his hat backwards. He's having fun. He's probably pumping it at about 82.
Right.
Okay, I could go to the Tickets for Less speed pitch at Warner Park and probably hit that, but I'm not playing for the Savannah Bananas. But the guy, there's a ground ball back to the mound, and he does a little juggling thing between his legs and throws over to first base. It's entertaining. It's fun. It makes baseball fun, and that's the most important thing. So I think you would go, and I think you would like it when it's here in Omaha next year.
From
in the
an
Omaha area,
from an entertainment standpoint, and knowing exactly what I'm going into it for, yeah. Because it would just be something to check out.
Yeah, it's like you don't go to the Harlem Globetrotters and say, "Can I get a scorebook?
Can I get a scorebook?" And I want to know, are they?
I want Game 7 of the NBA.
Are they going to run a zone
here.
defense here, or what are we doing?
Hey, did they announce that Curly Neal scored that basket, or was it Geese Osby?
Right. Or was it
Metal Arc Lemon?
Was it a special guest that came onto the floor for a possession?
Yeah.
When's overreaction for this? I need to question some of these.
Yeah, and this is what I'd always say about that. Like, yeah, for the Harlem Globetrotters, I thought was great growing up. Do I have like the itch to go to a Harlem Globetrotters game now? No, but I think it'd be fun for my son to see that. And I think it'd be fun for our family to go to that because it's more for that. Just like the Savannah Bananas. Like it was maybe earlier this year, or it might have even been last summer when I was watching a game. I was just kind of flipping through and it came on. And so it'll catch your attention for a little bit because you're like, what the hell am I watching? And then you realize, oh, it's the Savannah Bananas. And you can't help but to watch for a little bit, even if you're like, yeah, I'm not for this.
Like that
infomercial
at 2 a.m.
Then within like moments, it just annoys me. Watching it on TV, I'm like, yeah, okay, I'm over this. But just because
I can see that.
Just
that
because
that's your like personality.
Feel good Friday.
You don't like that stuff.
Just because it's
I'm
not
supposed
for
to
me,
be the curmudgeon
I
here.
can without question see the value of it, especially with what it can actually bring to a younger generation getting interested in just the sport of baseball. Now, if you're 15 or 16 years old and you're showing up with your hat on backwards and no sleeves and you're trying to go between your legs when you're making a double play exchange, okay, then we've got a problem there. But yeah, for little kids, just to get them on the field to get interested in baseball, if it does that, hell yeah.
I mean, I think you would love.
I'm cool with
I think you'd love how they handle walks. You got 3 balls. If you have to sprint, you have to sprint to first base.
Okay.
Like you can sprint on the 3rd ball. And the only way you're out is every player in the field has to touch the ball.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. I think you would like that.
It's like wiffle ball.
Really get into that.
Almost like you get into like some wiffle ball rules.
If a fan catches a ball, it's an out.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay. like I couldn't believe we were going to the Harlem Globetrotters at the Civic Auditorium. I couldn't believe we were doing that. I was so excited because I thought that was one of the greatest sports spectacles that you could do. Saw it, thought it was great. Went to it another time. They made a trip into Columbus, of all places, and got to see it then when I was a little bit older because we were doing some with the radio station. And again, I'm just kind of noticing, this is when I'm older and I'm noticing all the kids and just how in awe of what is going on. You could only like appreciate that part of it just a little bit more because you kind of see that impact. So yeah, I would go, I would take my son. He'd be excited. I wouldn't talk down. I'd be like, yeah, but you can't do that when you get older. Yeah, you
just
probably
picturing you on the golf course.
You
now.
probably shouldn't do that.
Just like the Globetrotters, you know what you're getting.
Yeah,
and that's
exactly.
not going to change baseball. Like they're not changing basketball.
Right. It's not like they're
But
going
making it fun.
to adopt these rules all of a sudden. Yeah, I'm like,
We used to have a
people,
lot
go
of
back
these.
to your
We used
shanties.
to have a lot of these barnstorming teams. Did you ever go or you remember? What was it? Eddie Feiner and the King in His Court.
King in His Court.
softball?
My dad always told me about it. I never got a chance to see it.
I think they came to Omaha a lot.
They did. My dad always talked about it and how like phenomenal that was. They'd take on an entire team, and it was him and what, 2 or 3 players? Is that it?
I never saw him play. I've just seen like the highlights.
Yeah, it was.
I was a- I was a-
basically like, from what I understand, it was like a guy and
That was a Max Patkin guy.
It was. I think the way I understand Max Patkin, the clown prince of baseball, the kind of like bench warmers, where you have like basically 3 or 4 dudes going up against an entire team. It's from what I understand. Now, I might be completely off on that, but I remember my dad always talking about the King's Court. I'm like, what are you talking about? And then I learned more as he talked about it. That would have been cool to see.
Yeah.
Again, I was young. That stuff entertains me.
So if you watched it last night, again, I think on TV it's so much going on
Wish I'd known it
outside
was
of
on. I'd watch.
the stuff that's on the field. So it's kind of tough to get the full extent on television, but they're selling out everywhere. I mean, it's extremely popular. So now we need to get it to Omaha in 2024.
They're not playing lefty-lefty matchups. It's like that stuff just pisses me off, man. Come on.
Hey, they go quick. There is no doubt about violating the pitch clock.
Yeah, that's right. That is true.
21 past the hour. Take a quick break. We'll get an update from Jimmy here in just a moment. Mike Schaefer will stop by. We got Cruton news to talk about. There's some big news that came Nebraska's way yesterday. Also, Schaef's thoughts through 4 days of camp. Nebraska practices today. There's no media availability except for the Big Ten Network crew who are in Lincoln. Their bus tour has arrived. And so Nebraska is practicing today, and then they'll do a live show at 3 o'clock. If you miss it, don't worry. It's going to be shown like 6 other times today.
Yep. And probably tomorrow morning,
Their
too.
hour show.
Mhm.
All right. Is it
maybe on a Tuesday, like
that's,
at 9 a.m.?
It's rare that they start in Lincoln.
Yeah. Yeah, usually it's part of the trip when I want to say usually they go from Iowa City to Lincoln, or maybe
They're going to need a plane for next year.
yeah, I that's true. Yeah, I think usually it's like Evanston, then Iowa City, then Lincoln.
First question will be, all these mountain lion sightings in Lincoln and Omaha. Matt Rule, is that because of you? It's Mornings with Sharp and Handley on 1620 The Zone.
Gary Sharp, Nick Handley, and Jimmy Chavez. Mornings with Sharp and Handley. Weekdays 6 to 10. On 1620 The Zone and 1620thezone.com. Mornings on 1620 The Zone is brought to you by MD West One Orthopedics, Neurosurgery, and Spine. Previously on Unsportsmanlike Conduct.
If there's a snail crawling towards me inside of the Omaha NRG studio, it's not going to be any other snail. That's just the one snail.
But when Nick and I bring a bag full of snails and dump them at your feet,
I'm not working with you two yahoos anymore.
pickup.
I'm not gonna work with you anymore.
Unsportsmanlike Conduct with John Bishop and Josh Peterson. Weekdays 2 to 6 on 1620 The Zone. Your Omaha area forecast from a Godfather's Pizza Weather Center and KETV Newswatch 7 on 1620 The Zone.
More fog this morning, giving way to mostly cloudy skies for your Friday.
Staying humid, a high of 82, but feeling like the mid and upper 80s. 40% chance for pop-up showers and thunderstorms as we head throughout your Friday afternoon. And again tonight, up to 50% chance for storms. A low risk for strong to severe storms, with our main threats being gusty winds and large hail. Low tonight of 70 degrees. I'm meteorologist Caitlin Harvey with KETV Newswatch 7.
1620 The Zone Traffic.
From the Backlund Plumbing Time-Saving Traffic Center. We have no accidents to report at this time, but you can't expect a significant delay from 96th to 79th along L Street. On Dodge, be prepared for some slowdown from 94th all the way to 77th. And along Industrial Road, be prepared for a major delay near 149th Street. As always, remember to stay safe and wear your seatbelts. I'm Chris Scott. This time-saving traffic was brought to you by IBEW Local 22.
Does great pay, fully funded medical benefits, and a solid retirement sound good to you? IBEW has immediate openings for electricians. Invest in yourself with IBEW Local 22. Call 402-810-0789 or visit IBEW22.org today.
Hey, everybody, it's Michael Savit for Ted and Wally's. What's the best part of summer? Well, the best part of summer, of course, is being out and having the shorts on and T-shirt and finding a way to cool off. And the way to cool off is to head over to Ted and Wally's Ultra Premium Ice Cream. Whether it's in Benson or the Old Market, it's going to cool you off. And the great thing is, no matter what you're looking for, keto-friendly ice cream, you're looking for a low-fat version of ice cream, you're looking for an ice cream that fits your dietary needs, they have done it, all the research. They have made sure that they have it prepared for you the correct way. And that's what the folks over at Ted and Wally's want you to know. Come on by, check out all different types of ice cream, and find out how it's done the old-fashioned way. 20% butterfat. They have these great machines they've been using for years to make the ice cream. They know what they're doing, and they do it the right way. So make some new memories for the summer and have some fun while you're doing it. Both locations, Benson and in the Old Market. Get you some ice cream from Ted and Wally's today and tell them Severe sent you.
Hey everyone, Josh Peterson here from my friends at Miracle Hill Golf and Tennis. They have a brand new club fitter, Mark Bauman, their master club fitter at Miracle Hill Golf and Tennis, and he is fitting both Callaway and Titleist equipment. Plus, how about this? Demo events on Tuesday nights as well as Saturdays where you can try out the equipment and then schedule your own personalized fitting with Mark to get that equipment ordered. Give him a call today at 402-498-0220, Miracle Hill Golf and Tennis. Email unsportsmanlike conduct on the Equitable Bank Zone inbox with whatever is on your mind, from your hot takes to what you think is one. The Zone inbox is brought to you by Equitable Bank. We take banking personally. We want to hear from you on the Equitable Bank Zone inbox.
Now back to Mornings with Sharp and Handley on 1620 The Zone.
The Storm Chasers dropped a third straight game to the Louisville Bats, falling 11-2 last night as the pitching staff combined to allow 9 walks and 14 hits. Sometimes it just be like that. Drew Parrish returned to the mound for Omaha after making 6 starts with AA Northwest Arkansas. Walked a pair in the first, but otherwise worked out of the frame without allowing a run. Louisville would jump out to a 10-0 lead after 4 innings. They'll try again tonight as the Storm Chasers look to get back to 500 total in the season, 615 against the Bats in Louisville. Those of you just waking up wondering what has happened with the conference Armageddon, well, the Pac-12 is close to entering hospice as Arizona is in deep discussions about joining the Big 12 with a deal expected to be finalized in the very near future. The school is amid the final steps, sources said, including detailing the move in an Arizona Board of Regents meeting late last night. They do love their meetings. Big 12 presidents and CEOs met another meeting yesterday to vote on approving the move, another sign of the likelihood of it happening. Barring an unexpected turn in the Board of Regents meeting, Arizona's decision is expected to be formalized soon, could be today. On the other side of the country, North Carolina Athletic Director Bubba Cunningham took exception yesterday to the way Florida State has publicized its willingness to leave the ACC. In an interview with 99.9 The Fan in Raleigh, Cunningham responded to comments Florida State President Richard McCullough made during a Board of Trustees, wait for it, meeting on Wednesday. McCullough told the board that the Seminoles would very seriously consider leaving the ACC unless there is a radical change to the conference's revenue distribution model. As we talked about yesterday, where are they going to go? I don't know. Maybe they know something we don't. As far as football on the field, it's officially back as the Zach Wilson era, well, at least for a night. was going on. Oh, wait, that's not who the quarterback of the Jets is. Well, he was last night as backup quarterback. They kicked off the Aaron Rodgers era with a 21-16 loss to the Browns. Rematch of the 86 AFC divisional playoff game, by the way, 2 overtime.
No, you're not wrong, though, because it was the Zach Wilson as a backup quarterback era and under the tutelage of Aaron Rodgers, and then Zach Wilson able to gain something out of it and go on to be a much better version of himself, potential.
Wow, that's deep. Wilson,
who's
hand in hand, by the
good
way.
Big 12 quarterback, Zach Wilson.
Yeah,
that's right.
Not as good as the Big 10 quarterback from UCLA.
Yes, he in fact played well in the second half.
DTR was impressive.
Mhm.
Yeah, there's a joke in there about Zach Wilson, moms, DTR. Anyway, his struggles as a starter the past 2 seasons sent the Jets on a QB quest that eventually got them Rodgers via trade from Green Bay. On Zach's 24th birthday, he was 3 of 5 passing for 65 yards, and he set up the game's first score with a 57-yard completion to wide receiver Malik Taylor on a play suggested by his new quarterback and apparently offensive coordinator, Aaron Rodgers. Yeah. There was a notable opening night glitch as a power outage in Tom Benson Stadium caused about a 20-minute delay between the third and fourth quarters and affected the water, leading to the inability to shower after the game, making for some very stinky professional football players.
And potentially sick.
Yeah, evidently.
Mhm.
Yeah, they're going to get pneumonia, according to you.
Do temperature checks when you get them.
Okay, there is some here in the last 20 minutes. There's been some stuff that has happened. You need to, Jimmy, you need to hit F5 over there. All right, Dan Wetzel is reporting that the Pac-12 has a meeting in the next hour to discuss its media deal and the signing of grant of rights. As bleak as things looked for the league late Thursday, numerous sources express optimism that the Pac-12 can halt most or even all defections and push forward together with this Apple deal. So many moving parts and uncertainties, but like a great summer blockbuster, this story may not be over. Now, here's the next bit of news. This is from The Athletic, and this just came down a minute ago. Oregon and Washington's exit from the Pac-12 to the Big Ten appears to have lost momentum. This is different from yesterday when the presidents authorized Tony Petitti to pursue expansion. So with the Pac-12 having their meeting today, there is renewed optimism that the Pac-12 will stay together.
George is
Just when you thought that this is the Undertaker.
George is going to get him on the Ocho.
This is the Undertaker.
Just still TV.
Can we just bring back the BCS?
Oh
Yeah.
my
Yeah.
gosh.
I did like my selection show.
George has got
Hey.
breath in him still.
How nice is it to be living in the Big Ten right now? It is so good to be in the Big Ten. You know what? This feels like we've been here forever. It is so nice to be in the Big Ten.
Can I ask the obvious question here? What do we not know about the Apple deal? That all of a
Everyone
sudden,
gets a free iMac?
wait a minute. This
Well,
isn't so bad.
If you're in the Apple deal, you don't get the exposure that you probably deserve. And are you going to ask your fans to switch from YouTube TV to Apple TV? People want to watch their
Wow.
football on one platform, please.
Linear too.
But this might have some legs. This would be incredible.
Would this be one of the greatest comeback stories of all time?
Yeah, it was
Well,
done.
I think we're burying the lead here. How come we do not have a camera on Bill Walton?
That's what I wanted.
Bill Walton is like the Undertaker right now.
As I said, the conference was Bill Walton is.
George is an intergalactic
Because
treasure.
I as I was driving in this morning, and I was singing Dua Lipa, I was thinking, has anybody thought about Bill Walton? Like, who gets Bill Walton?
That's what I wondered. Big
The Big
10,
Ten.
Big 12.
How is he doing?
The Big Ten does.
But now Bill Walton, just in his home in San Diego, went, huh? Huh? I believe.
Crank up the
Yes.
dead.
Yeah.
We're alive.
This could possibly be one of the greatest days in all of Pac-12 history in Apple television.
And modern humanity.
So this is what's going to happen. This will all they'll have a meeting because everybody has meetings, and then by noon, Arizona will be in the Big 12.
This is George's last stand.
If we're able to get to the end of the day with Arizona not going to the Big 12, then maybe George has a chance to be the comeback player of the year.
George. They'll have an ESPY after him, or an Apple Sports Award.
Mike Schaefer will join the portal here in just a moment. It's Mornings with Sharp and Handley on 1620 The Zone.
Mornings with Sharp and Handley on 1620 The Zone and 1620thezone.com with Gary Sharp and Nick Handley. Now live on Twitter Twitch, YouTube, and 1620thezone.com.
Happy birthday to us. That's right. We're turning 50 this year, and we're celebrating with you. Introducing my new birthday cake streusel, topped with vanilla cake and crunchy streusel, a swirl of white icing, and showered with rainbow sprinkles. Paired with our classic combo, the one that started it all, and your favorite one-topping pizza. Happy birthday feast. Enjoy one today. Godfather's Pizza. Do it.
Do you have big plans for your business? Get access and get growing. If you need a commercial loan or line of credit, the experts at Access Bank can help you get financing that fits your dreams. We're dedicated to supporting owners and entrepreneurs like you on a timeline that fits your schedule, because we're here for a reason, to help Omaha grow. Get started today at accessbank.com. That's accessbank.com. Member FDIC.
There's Unlimited Pro, Unlimited Obsidian, Unlimited Mini, Unlimited No Limit.
At Cox Mobile, we know other mobile companies have puzzling data plans. Shouldn't it be easier? That's why Cox Mobile has two simple plans. Choose between pay-as-you-gig or unlimited and change plans anytime. Finally, something that actually fits you. All while running on the network with unbeatable 5G reliability. Cox Mobile. We're different because you're different. Cox postpaid internet required 5G reliability is measured by Ookla LLC in the U.S. to H 2023. Results may vary. Not endorsement. Wi-Fi not tested. Other restrictions apply. Learn more at cox.com/mobile.
Hey everyone, Josh Peterson here from my friends at Union Omaha. A couple more home matches coming up this week. One on Wednesday, one on Saturday, and great specials as well, including $2 night on Wednesday. Tickets for the Berm area, beer, pop, and a whole lot more. Go to the website today, unionomaha.com, and purchase your tickets. It's a great atmosphere. The only professional soccer club that we have in the state of Nebraska. I love going to Union Omaha matches. You will too. unionomaha.com.
Peerless Energy Systems is Nebraska and Iowa's locally owned and operated authorized solar air compressor distributor. Peerless Energy Systems provides products and solutions for compressed air systems, helping companies in manufacturing, food processing, transportation, auto body repair, car dealers, and more. Driving industry efficiency through service, support, and relationships, let Peerless Energy Systems help you increase efficiency with your compressed air systems today. PeerlessEnergy.com.
It's the most. It's hot. You want to drink the same boring beer as those Hawkeye fans. Drink icy cold, Nebraska brewed beers, cider, or seltzers instead. Each week, we're putting the spotlight on a unique Nebraska brewery with One Beer Friday. Share your brew on social media with the hashtag One Beer Friday, and you'll be entered to win a $25 gift card to a local Nebraska brewery. Nebraska is the good life with great beer. Click nebraska.beer to learn more.
Your exclusive home for Royals baseball in Omaha.
Right up the middle, Bishop, and the Royals are a winner.
1620 The Zone.
And we're back. Mornings with Sharp and Handley. Here's Gary, Nick, and Jimmy on 1620 The Zone.
You are music. You're welcome in. Pearl Jammer himself, Mike Schaefer. Shout out to Mr. Pac-12 24/7. Good this down. All right. Are you exhausted by all of this conference realignment talk, or are you reminiscent of the Seinfeld episode with his cabinet maker when he just said, "Just figure it out for yourself and get it done"?
Where the thing is, I can do it any way you want me to do it.
Yeah. Where do you stand, Mr. Schaefer?
Yeah, I mean, I'm in a spot where I just largely don't care. I guess I'd rather just fast forward to the super conferences and just be done with it.
Yep.
Because the Pac-12 is just trying to stave off, elimination any way that it possibly can, but it's all going to happen. They're not going to keep that conference afloat for longer than a small amount of years. And I don't want to be insensitive to the plight of these things and the history and everything else. But it's just like college football as we know it is not 1988 anymore. It's not 1998. It's not 2008. It's barely even 2018. And what I mean by that is we just have to embrace the fact that things are going to be entirely different. And the sooner we get to a point where you can have a level playing field and people competing in a more even situation, the better off it is for the sport as a product. Because right now, this sucks. It does. Like, the football season is about to start, and we're talking about what's going to happen to Oregon and Washington and Cal and Stanford. And frankly, I don't care. It does not matter to me where they're going to play football in 27. I don't care. It does not matter. Like, I want to talk about the football season. I want to talk about what's coming this upcoming year. But instead, it's like, well, is the Pac-12 going to get their media rights deal? Doesn't matter. They're not going to exist as a conference. The Pac-12 died the day that USC and UCLA moved over to the Big Ten. Then it just became a running clock. It's the doomsday clock from Watchmen, but that's what the Pac-12 has. And really, that's what college football has, as we know.
Yeah, they're down 0-3.
So you're like me. You just want to know where the bottom of all this is. Like, what is this thing going to look like for the next decade or two, as opposed to, staving off the inevitable or kicking the can down the road?
Essentially, because I guess there's no part of me that wants to go through this where 4 teams get added as the Big Ten, and then eventually another couple get added, and then the Big Ten is the Big 22. And it's just like, let's just be done with it. Figure it out. The ACC is going to have to disband probably. The Pac-12 is too. And this is what happens when you have a sport that has no unifying voice and an NCAA that generally just avoids any responsibility that it has. And they really can't provide that much guidance here either. So it's just a thing where we need to get to the next iteration of college football, because this iteration is messy and it's sort of annoying.
When was the last time you got excited about conference realignment? 2010?
Yeah, basically.
Were you excited? Were you excited then when Nebraska was part of these talks?
Well, I mean, I was excited because basically it felt like Nebraska moving to the Big Ten was going to be Nebraska saving itself. And that's what happened. Now, if I would have known everything that followed, would I have been super excited for an entire decade plus of, middling results to outright bad with multiple different coaches thrown in there? No. But they saved themselves in a way. And I understand the Big 12 has done a nice job of sort of rebranding and finding different schools and everything else. And they've sort of put themselves in this spot where they can be the alternative to, the Big 10 or the SEC. But that version of the Big 12 was a lot harder to see in 2010. And I still think Nebraska is in so much better position for leading it. So, yeah, I mean, certainly when it was all new and fresh, it was intriguing. But we just gotten to this point where it's just a big game of chicken between the Big Ten and the SEC, and everyone else is just caught in the middle of it. And it's just, I don't know, it's not compelling. Like, it's really not even a compelling discussion, because it's like, oh, how fun would it be to see Nebraska play at Washington in 2028? I don't know, because who knows how many iterations of the schedule they're going to have before then. We just watched as they announced the 2024, 2025 schedule. I mean, do you guys anticipate that 2025 schedule is going to be the exact same a couple years from now?
Probably not.
So, like, what are we doing? Get to a point where it doesn't have to be, a renovation or a flip every single year. Get the bones of the house up, and let's move forward with this thing. But I don't think we're that close to it, which is just frustrating, because I'm out of interest in all of the stuff that isn't football. And this is what happens every year in August. I don't care about the transfer portal. I surely don't care about NIL or collectives or what 1890 is doing, because it really doesn't matter right now. And I definitely am not interested in realignment. Give me the damn football. I'd rather watch the preseason football game of Jets versus Browns than I would talk conference realignment right now.
Shay, if you don't like reality TV, do you?
No, I hate it.
Yeah, same.
That's okay. But
that shouldn't really come as a surprise. I'm not wired that way.
I mean, this is what it is. It's reality TV. That's what it is.
Hey, but Jersey Shore was back last night for their family vacation.
Oh, yeah, probably.
Wow,
I'm sure I recorded it.
How's everybody doing? How's Ronnie doing?
I think Ronnie's in rehab.
JWoww's thriving.
He's not on the show. Like, he's taking some time away. But you have to give the Jersey. You got to give Jersey Shore credit. They've hung around long enough.
Sure.
Yeah, there's like one of those guys that became like a mogul. Like he invested really well, and
is that Vinny?
I think it is Vinny.
So Mike went to jail for tax evasion, but he's back now. He's on the show this year.
And Snook has done really well for herself.
Yeah.
Unbelievable.
Hey,
Hail for-
hey,
hail for tax
hey,
evasion.
can we
He's
at
like
least
Al Capone.
can we at least give Jersey Shore credit? They have hung around for. I mean, they're way past their 15 minutes of fame.
Yeah, unlike the Pac-12.
Yeah, but so here's a question for you. You know, like right now, you have Indiana Jones was just in the theaters. Like Barbie, we went through a run of G.I. Joe, Transformers. Like you have the 80s classics became movies and everything. As we get closer to the reality TV era, isn't it just going to be constant reunions to see what sort of like facial work these people have had done in the last 15 years while we ignored their lives? And then we can just pretend like this is nostalgic for us to watch Richard Hatch and Susan from Survivor bury the hatchet on live television 25 years later. I can't imagine how excited Jeff Prost is about that.
Shafe, there's always a place on my couch when they do the Whitney reunion, okay?
That's great. That's very nice.
Hey,
I'm over here just waiting for the reunion of the Tough Enough.
I guess
that's from 2001.
Big Brother is celebrating its 25th year. I mean, it's amazing.
Be careful. I work for this company. I really need to.
No comment.
All right, Mike Schaefer from Husker 24/7, which is a CBS is involved with Husker 24/7. Hey, let me ask you. This is my read on it, and I know it's early. And yesterday we heard Marcus Satterfield, and we've had enough time to pick through Satterfield's past and what it's going to look like in Nebraska. And there are some that are going to be very critical of Satterfield, and I'm in that camp to see what he does play calling because I want to see if it's early South Carolina last year or late South Carolina. Then there's the discussion about Jeff Sims of, if Jeff Sims stays healthy, if Jeff Sims is still the guy at Georgia Tech. But there are two common denominators that I'm reading in this that people will go, but there's Matt Rule. Matt Rule would not allow Marcus Satterfield to all of a sudden go against running the ball. Matt Rule is going to make Jeff Sims better because they're going to run the ball and they're going to take it out of his hands. Do you sense that as well? That there's a lot of, they won't be like that because it's Matt Rule. He won't do that.
Yeah, I mean, it's a lot of wish casting. It's no different than if you put in Scott Frost and you subbed in like, Adrian Martinez won't struggle as a freshman because Scott Frost won't allow it. He's gotten great performance. It's what people do. And Matt Rule has just been gained in popularity since he was hired and he's won over people. And so then the expectation is that he's a magician and can make all the bad things about a team go away. And that's just not the reality. And the thing with Marcus Satterfield, I don't have any real thought that he's going to look a lot like South Carolina at all. I don't know the personnel at Nebraska matches up what he sort of had there either. And so, when he was talking yesterday, he sort of went to great pains to basically say nothing in his 8 minutes up there. And so I think he's very good at that. And I think we're going to get that a couple more times before the season starts. So I don't know that we're going to have a great understanding of what this offense is going to look like. I mean, someone tried to work in a question about, who's looking to run or pass more. And he's like, we want to do both well.
Yeah.
So Nebraska, I'll file this away under breaking news. Nebraska wants to run the ball well and they want to pass the ball well too.
How about that? Offensive line, and it's been a constant conversation from spring, but hearing Gabe Ervin talk yesterday, hearing Ramir Johnson talk, hearing a lot of the skill position players talk about this group. We heard from Turner Corcoran. We've Ben Scott yesterday too. Your confidence level, and especially as you start to see these guys physically, and I know that can only go so far, but where are you at with the offensive line based on sort of the narrative as we kind of continue to go through fall camp here?
Well, I'm intrigued, but at the same time, I got to see it. I mean, I said this last year with the offensive line. We're not going to know what they are until they're 4 weeks in. They were terrible, and we knew that by 4 weeks in. And I think it's going to be the same with this offensive line. We're not going to know what they are until you're into the season. I mean, I think it's great that, Gabe Ervin yesterday talked about how much he loved the offensive line and how it's apparent to him that they want to get out there and block for him and everything else. That's what I expect a running back to say.
True.
I mean, so we're sort of in that point where for me, you have a lot of the same pieces, whether it's the assistant coach or a lot of the same offensive linemen up front. We're at the point where they need to go and show it. So it doesn't matter what anybody says. It doesn't matter if Matt Rule comes out and tells you this is the best offensive line you've seen since he was at Baylor and blah, 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 blah. None of that matters. They have to go out and they have to prove it on the football field. So if they're going to be good, show up in Minnesota and kick somebody's ass. Do that. I'm so tired of this. Well, Are we going to see some gains from him? I don't know. I mean, it's such a tough thing to figure out because nothing's really all that different. The only thing that's going to be really different is Ben Scott and Marcus Satterfield calling the plays. And if those two things are enough to make Nebraska an average offense, then that means to me the offensive line got a lot better. But if those aren't enough, then you're largely looking at the same personnel, and I just don't know what to expect out of that. I don't know what to expect out of Teddy Prohaska this year. I don't know if it's fair to expect that he's going to be the starting left tackle against Minnesota because we haven't seen him play at a really high level for now. It's going to be close to 2 seasons in October. With Bryce Benhart, he's been the whipping boy for everybody from message boards to call-in shows to Twitter to everything else. And he looks physically fantastic, and I'm excited for him. But does that mean he's going to have the aggression that he sort of lacked these last couple of years to go finish people, to go get that extra 2 yards of space to allow Anthony Grant or Gabe Ervin to get through there to pick up a first down on 3rd and short? I mean, so much of what the offensive line has struggled with isn't what they look like physically. It's their ability to just go out and own the moment. And they haven't done that for several years. Now, is this the year that they do it? I don't think we're going to know that answer until probably around the Michigan.
So they're
going to have opportunity to do it because Minnesota's a good first test, but then you got a good runway there in those 3 other games.
Yeah, everything's connected. So if the offensive line is dependable, that helps the running game, helps Jeff Sims, la-di-da-di-da. So listening to E.J. Barthel and the times that we've heard him since he's been here and what we've seen him do on the recruiting trail and what his running backs say, he's falling into those lines of now this seems like we're on a run of running back coach that we really like. We like what Ryan Held has to say. We like what Applewhite had to say. We now like E.J. Barthel, what he has to say. How do these guys maximize the talent? I mean, what's the impact of a running back coach in your opinion? Can the running back coach be separate and be really good, or does it solely rely on the OC?
Well, I think a lot of it comes down to can they figure out a way to enhance some of the weaknesses? For Anthony Grant, for example, can E.J. Barthel find a way to get him to hit the hole a little bit quicker, to avoid sort of dancing and trying to run around everything, but to get to the spot that he needs to quicker? There's only so much you can do with running backs. I really do believe this. Like with wide receivers, you can scheme some things open, but with running backs, you need the guy that can not only hit the hole when he needs to, but can physically overpower some people when he needs to, can run away from some people when he needs to. And that's not something you can really control as a running back coach. So I think what you strive to do as a good running back coach, figure out where the strengths and weaknesses are for the guys that you're going to play, find ways to minimize those weaknesses, and more than anything, figure out a way to try to get as much consistency out of your group as you can, because you can only control so much. You can't control if that defensive line is going to stick 9 in the box because Jeff Sims isn't hitting passes in a certain game. You can't control if the offensive line isn't opening up everything, but you can control your own consistency. And I think that's what a good running back coach does. I think it's sort of a tough position to get a great read on whether the assistant coach is good or whether the people that he has are good, because so much of it is individually based at the running back spot. I think it's different than a lot of other positions in that sense.
Shafe, it's been a constant conversation throughout the offseason of Matt Rule and trying to set the culture as he sees best to allow this program to be successful. I want you to give me your best rating, if you can, on this last week for Matt Rule and I know the plan had been in place earlier, so it wasn't like, oh, this was just a revelation this week of the dorms and the guys staying in the dorms to try to make them get comfortable with being uncomfortable, as he says, but also the handling of some personnel change from a tight ends coach that you brought in to a couple of guys that are either no longer with the team in the transfer portal or are currently not with the team because of some standards. Just overall, in the effort and the attempt to set this thing as quickly as possible, how would you rate what Matt Rule has done this last week?
I mean, I don't know if it's a grade or what, but I feel like it's gone pretty well, because I guess here's what I wanted from Matt Rule, and here's what I want from pretty much any of Nebraska's coaches. Go set a standard and then keep that standard. Don't change it. The standard shouldn't be different, for example, for a Maurice Washington and a J.D. Spielman than it is for somebody else. Mm-hmm. And I think that was some of the problems they've run into in the past. And so, I mean, I I look at what happened and what transpired over the last couple of weeks, and you have a guy like Josh Fleet that they went out and they brought to Nebraska, and they were unhappy with, and they sent him home. You have a guy in Miles Farmer who played at Nebraska for several years. They're unhappy with him. He's not meeting the standard. It's not going how they want. He's suspended. He ends up in the transfer portal. I think if you can make players feel like the standard is the same and the standard is set and the standard is visible, they're going to give you their trust.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I think it's easy. It's easy to understand where you are if there is a line that you know exists. And I think sometimes some people absolutely do better in an environment where they know where that line is. And I think that part of what Matt Rule is trying to do in this first year is set the line and then hold his coaches accountable and his players accountable. And then when you really have a good program, it transitions from the coaches doing that to the players holding each other accountable. And we've heard Nebraska talk about this in the spring. And I think it was Nash Hutmacher who talked about the standard that the defensive coaches had. And he's like, and I shouldn't say it's their standard, it's our standard. So they're talking about stuff like this. And I think that's valuable. I think that's important when we talk about setting the culture and we talk about all of that sort of stuff that's intangible, that's hard to see, that you have to listen to and hear and try to read between the lines. But I think that it was an important stretch for Matt Rule to sort of say, all right, this is who we are. This is who we're going to be. And it starts right now. And there's no exception. And I think that's good for the program overall.
All right, September 16th, Matt Rule's home debut, night game, home opener, coming off 2 games, could be 2-0, could be 1-1, could be 0-2. Pick your favorite option. But there will be a large gentleman that will be here on an official visit that stands 6'4" and a half, 300 pounds, and is the number 1 offensive tackle in the country, Brandon Baker from Southern California. He's got a lot of interest, but he's also got a lot of familiarity. What is different about his 3rd trip to Lincoln, Shafe?
Well, I think this one's a set up because he had a good second trip. I mean, the spring game, his family came out. They really liked it. They're happy with what they experienced. He was out there, whether it's Caleb Python or other guys, he was talking to different recruits. I think one of the things you can sort of tell, whether it's a top-end guy, whether it's a low-end guy, whatever it is, sometimes you can tell someone's comfortable if they're out there and they're acting comfortable. And Brandon Baker was comfortable on Memorial Stadium's turf for the spring game. And so I think because of that, Nebraska sits pretty highly in his mind. Is it their favorite? No, not close. But, it gives you an opportunity. And the other thing that's important because his family came out and they really liked it too. And, there's been discussion from Brandon himself about wherever he goes to school, his family might just tag along. They might just uproot, move. They have the sort of mobility that they can do that. And so that's sort of unique in itself. So I think there's a lot in this recruitment that you could look at from the outside and be like, it's just a guy taking a visit. I don't think that's the case. I think Brandon Baker really likes Nebraska. And they're going to have to try to beat out Ohio State. I think that's the team that's out in front. Georgia is right there too, Oregon as well. But he's already sort of commented, it doesn't sound like he's going to take an official visit to Oregon because, quote, I've been there too many times. Or not too many times, but I've been there enough times. So he's been to Nebraska twice. He's obviously been to Oregon several times, but he still wants to come out to Nebraska for an official visit. I think that matters.
Yep.
And it's important.
Last one. Any worries about Quan Lacey going to Ole Miss for a visit?
He went there in the spring. This is a school that had been predicted to end up with Quan Lacey at one point in time. I think, in Nebraska, you have to keep kind of recruiting them. You have to keep working hard on it. And they're certainly still looking at other running backs. So I think they're doing everything that they can there. But I don't know that it's the time to sound the alarm bells yet.
All right. Great stuff, Shafe. I appreciate it. You gave us the good, the bad, the ugly, happy, and grumpy, Shafe. So this was a great segment.
Well, I try to be every flavor of the rainbow.
I know. All right. Enjoy your weekend, my man.
Yeah.
That's Mike Schaefer from Husker 24/7. Mike J. Schaefer.
I didn't bring up Savali, too, because we could have really gotten the grumpy Schaefer. So.
Your season's over. Don't worry about it. Move on. You got football coming up. People high on Justin Fields.
Woo!
Yeah.
4,000 yards, baby. That's what he wants to do, Gary. And if you don't have dreams, you have nightmares.
Wow.
Okay.
No,
wow.
That actually
like words of
went
wisdom.
0 to 60 quick.
I'm not taking a credit. That is from your buddy John Baylor, by the way. He did that in a broadcast. I almost spit water out of my nose laughing so hard. He goes, because, they always say, I think it was Lauren Cook said, what they say? If you don't have dreams, he goes, you've got nightmares. Just right on cue with
Did
it,
he
too.
also say that while you're scratching your backs on the bricks? That's what he used to when they were at the Coliseum and they'd have a full house.
Yeah.
He'd say the people are scratching their backs on the bricks.
I just like that they're waking babies no matter where they are. They're waking
Dude,
babies.
Oh, I thought you said
kids. No, and when they were in Kansas City, when I heard that, I said, did he say they're making babies in the Power and Light District? Like, okay.
Some people celebrate
People get
differently.
excited. People get excited about volleyball.
I remember the night the Royals
Call
won.
the grandkids. Nebraska's on a roll.
It was one of the
Bergen
funniest things,
Riley is beating up Bud Crawford.
I just love it. She goes, and if you don't have dreams, he goes, you've got nightmares. It was amazing. Like, God, I got to use that in conversation sometime.
That's a kill by Lindsey Krause. They can't stop her from the outside. They're going to have to take a timeout. They don't know whether to wind their watch or throw it off their wrist. Last hour of the week coming up next.
Mornings with Sharp and Handley on 1620 The Zone and 1620thezone.com. 1620 The Zone. Traffic.
From the Backlund Plumbing Time-Saving Traffic Center. We have no accidents to report at this time, but you can expect a significant delay from 96 to 79th along L Street. On Dodge, be prepared for some slowdown from 94th all the way to 77th. And along Industrial Road, be prepared for a major delay near 149th Street. As always, remember to stay safe and wear your seatbelts. I'm Chris Scott. This time-saving traffic was brought to you by Les Hills Harley Davidson.
It doesn't matter if you live in Iowa, Nebraska, 10 miles away, or 200. There's only one place to go for all your Harley Davidson parts and service. General merchandise, new and used motorcycles. Les Hills Harley Davidson. Rise up and ride on.
Watching a ball game at Oscar's Pizza and Sports Grill is pretty awesome. Oscar's offers the MLB package, so your team is always on their upgraded audio-video system, and nothing is better than watching the game with a cold frosty one, Oscar's Pizza, or award-winning char-buffed wings. And with daily lunch and dinner specials, it's really a no-brainer. So get ready to watch your favorite team play ball at Oscar's Pizza and Sports Grill, 173rd and West Center Road, and takeout at 162nd and Maple.
Don't miss the Vallis 39-hour flash sale celebrating their 39-year anniversary. Thursday at 7 a.m. through Friday at 10 p.m. Friday through Sunday tickets are $32.99 and season passes are $69.99 per person. With more than 50 attractions included with admission, Vallis Pumpkin Patch and Apple Orchard has something fun for all ages. Visit VallisPumpkinPatch.com to cash in on the savings during their 39-hour anniversary flash sale.
Hi, this is Doug Nodgard with Equitable Bank. Great service never goes out of style. When the digital age dawned, many said computers would be able to handle many of the interactions that used to take a person. Boy, were they wrong. How many times have you called your bank and gotten a recording to press 1 or 2? Not at Equitable. Not only does Equitable answer your call on the first ring, it's answered by a human being. That's because Equitable Bank values its customers. Equitable Bank, we take banking personally. Member FDIC.
Paid for by Maxiderm Labs. Man, on a scale of 1 to 10, how would you rate your performance in the bedroom? If you're a 5, take it to 10. If you're a 10, why not take it up to 15? With Maxiderm Power Surge. Maxiderm's new Power Surge Red Pill makes you more potent than you or your partner ever imagined. It's like going from a sedan to a supercharged high-performance sports car. And it works fast. Just minutes. And now you can try it free. Just call 1-800-418-4697. If you thought being a 10 was great in the bedroom, just imagine what a 20 must be like. Experience off-the-scale virility with Maxiderm's new Red Pill Power Surge. You'll never want to go back to being just a 10. Call 1-800-418-4697 now to experience male enhancement supercharged. 1-800-418-4697 for your free trial and ask about our VIP club rewards. Hurry, this offer is limited. Call 1-800-418-4697. These statements have not been evaluated by the Food and Drug Administration. This product is not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease.
Let it fly. Your elevated sports bar experience. KOZN Bellevue, Omaha, Council Bluffs. This is 1620 The Zone. Now back to mornings with Sharp and Handley on 1620 The Zone.
Matt Verzal coming up here in a little bit. Last hour, mornings with Sharp and Handley for the week. Raining once again in the morning here in Omaha.
Looks like November. Doesn't feel like it, but it looks like it.
Wait, are they ever going to start with the...
Yeah, where's...
I don't get Desmond Howard. It's Nebraska Classic Day, and they're showing Desmond Howard.
Who better to usher in Nebraska Day than Desmond Howard? Come on, guys.
We'll say that 97 game against Ohio State, he was pretty good. Or, 97.
Yeah.
No, he was 91.
91.
Woodson is 91.
Woodson's, yeah, there you go. That's right.
Sorry, I got them confused. I should never do that. One's
Nearly
much different than the other. But that 91 game that he won the Heisman against Ohio State, he was really good in that game.
Yeah.
Poor Herbstreit got annihilated.
Wonder how he'll be with...
Herbstreit had a little hitch in his throw.
Oh, they beat the heck out of Herbstreit. I mean, he got
high load there at the end.
Yeah.
There were 3 roughing the passer calls in that game. Michigan against
him. You got the Wyoming quarterback treatment and the 94 Nebraska game.
All right, Matt Verzal coming up in the next segment. So in Lincoln yesterday, Ramir Johnson spoke, and he looks like a good 190. To some people, that might be going, man, is he still here? Yeah, he's still here. Amazingly, and now he's a little bit of an older fella, but he's kind of starting from scratch for the second time, third time in some cases. There was a part of me that listened to him talk yesterday, and kudos to him. He keeps his optimism because I'm sure he's been promised some things and never showed up. Like last year, they got him ramped up for a week in practice, and they're like, this is packages for you. This is what we're going to run. This is a point of the game we're going to run. And then he never played in that game. And it would have been very easy to say something with an action, and he did not. So there's part of you go, man, I do kind of feel bad for the guy because he's a tweener and nobody knows how to properly use him outside of one season where you thought they had a handle on him. But I'm going to make a bold prediction here. I'm going to say that in this offense, Ramir Johnson at the end of the year will have 32 catches. That is my first, outside of 6-6, my first bold prediction. Ramir Johnson will have 32 catches this season. Might not be bold.
So if I set the over under 30, you're taking the over.
That is my oddly specific prediction on Ramir Johnson. Ramir Johnson will have 32 catches this season.
Can you give me a game that he's most productive at? I feel like you've put a lot of thought into the number itself.
Hey, it's just day by day. Get 1% better.
1%
Doesn't
better.
matter. The first game should, the first and second game should look like the last game.
Yep. We got Husker speed now. We got line mentality. But yeah,
Ramir, people that are rooting for him, like
I'm a big Ramir.
Like that guy,
big Ramir guy.
Shove it up the previous 2 staffs.
And that's another example yesterday of why I like Ramir Johnson, because everything that he's gone through, it would be very easy and understandable, I think, from a fan standpoint or anyone else who's followed Ramir Johnson, if he decided that he wanted to just find a different scene and a different fit somewhere else. And I just think that the fact that he's kind of stuck with it, he's been lost in the shuffle. You know, he had the injury 2 years ago when he seemed like he was going to be a guy that was going to sort of emerge. There was just a lot of things to like about Ramir Johnson of kind of trying to stick with the process. And for a lot of people, if they were at practice and got a chance to see the running backs work, but if you just saw him speak yesterday, you can tell there's, again, and it's going to be a theme when we hear from these guys or see these guys, even from the chest up, that they look different physically. And Ramir Johnson is a guy who physically looks different. If you go all the way back to his real debut on the road against Maryland, there was a lot of there's something there, but man, he needs to get bigger. He just needs to get bigger. He has. It's a guy that the catching part is interesting because when you heard E.J. Barthel talking about the running backs, things that they're going to value with these guys, and I don't think it's much different than any other coach that's talked about the running backs and what they value, whether it's an offensive coordinator or running backs coach. But his ability to, even for his small stature, Ramir Johnson's been known as a guy that he'll get his nose dirty when it comes to pass pro. He is a reliable option out of the backfield when it comes to the passing game as well. There is speed there. What is this sort of size that he's putting on? Because for a small guy, he doesn't shy away from between the tackles. He plays bigger than what he would look. You always feel like there's got to be some type of role for a guy like that. But when I think of what Matt Rule, at least what he says publicly, what they value out of their players, and the guys that kind of go about it the right way and are going to be rewarded with that. You would think the history of Ramir Johnson, the fact that he has continued to stick with us and stick with us and stick with us when we've all been ready to say, yeah, he's probably going to be lost in the shuffle. I think there's something there. Maybe that's what motivates him, and maybe that shows up on the field. But I at least get the feeling that he's definitely on the staff's radar. Now, how that works out, how that plays out, maybe it is a week-by-week situation, but I think there's a genuine appreciation for what Ramir Johnson can bring. And I don't know if that was always the case last year.
I mean, 32 catches. Well, he also had no OC that they didn't know how to use him.
No.
I mean, that's a big part of this whole discussion. So put it on the board, 32 catches. Another part of the running game. So a little bit I asked about Schaaf. So they have Rule and Satterfield. You're seeing a lot of parroting, which I think is a good sign. Like coaches are starting to sound like players, or players are starting to sound like coaches in what they say to the media. And
very much so.
Talk about, what they want to do every day and how to get to the intended goal. And that's a good thing. You don't, have people that are speaking differently, and it's counteractive to what a coach is saying. And that was actually in the spring. So this has been a big lead up, and they've leaned on the new guys who can come in and want to win, and they grab the culture, and so they lead the way. But one familiar theme coaches and players have mentioned is they're going to run the football. Like now you're set up. If they don't run the football, you're going to oh, well, you lied to us. First time you lied to us, Matt Rule.
Thought we were friends.
I give them credit because they do not miss an opportunity, especially Marcus Satterfield, to drop in. We are going to run the football. That's what we're going to do. We're an identity. We're going to run the football. Marcus Satterfield, you could meet him at Target. Hey, how you doing, Coach? Welcome to Nebraska. I'm looking for a run the damn ball hat. You know where I can get it?
I was going to wear my shirt today.
Yeah, you had Gabe Irvin talk about the I formation.
Some guy came up and had Rule sign one of those hats, and he started showing it off to other people. He's like, "This is so cool." Don't lie to us. I mean, they have not missed a beat of we're going to run the football. We're going to run the football. We're going to run the football.
We'll run the fullback. We have to.
And then okay, I believe you because Matt Rule is in charge. So kind of back to the question I asked Schaaf. I don't know if you guys get this or not. There's a lot of, okay, can Marcus Satterfield get out of his own way? Oh, he'll be fine because Matt Rule won't let him. What will they do with Jeff Sims? What if Jeff Sims is the same guy at Georgia Tech? All right, throws interceptions. Well, he'll be fine because Matt Rule won't put him in the situation to have failure. They'll run the football, so less Sims has got to win the day, more running has to win the day. You guys getting that sense?
I do,
especially with Sims when there's hesitation about, well, if he stays healthy, and if Matt Rule takes care of him, then Nebraska's going to be fine. Just went a little John Baylor there.
that was. I would agree with that for the fact that this is a multifaceted head coach. This is a guy that has experience on each side of the football. This is a guy that it's not foreign to him on how an offense should look in concepts in an offense as far as what you can do with your current roster. And if you feel like you have the personnel that you can go all in on that, you can take some pressure off your quarterback and you can utilize the passing game because a team is really trying to shut down the run. I think that is something that Matt Rule has had enough experience in where this is his program. And I think these coaches, whether we're talking about Tony White or we're talking about Marcus Satterfield, their vision is ultimately going to be Matt Rule's vision. And that's not to say that these guys don't have their own thoughts on the concepts and how to execute that. But I think there's a reason Matt Rule brought every one of these guys in. And that's not even to say they're yes men. But I think at the end of the day, that look, whatever we're looking at the offense on that particular Saturday is going to have a huge Matt Rule influence on it. And I don't think this is where I look at that, going back to that experience that he has, where I think he understands, especially with the offensive line, of having a little experience there as well. I think he gets this roster of, if they're to help this defense out as they're coming along, what they have to do from an offensive standpoint to put that defense in the best situation. This is where I do trust Matt Rule. And then so I feel like I have to trust Marcus Satterfield a lot more than South Carolina fans probably do.
When was the last coach you went into a season saying that? Well, he can't help himself, but the head coach will help him. Remember we thought that about Frost and Adrian?
Yeah.
When Adrian started to have some turnover issues? Well, Frost will help him.
Yeah. Because he's a quarterback guy. He gets it. Gets offense.
That's just the last couple of days, because I've listened a lot about, not everybody's in on Jeff Sims. I was impressed by him in Indianapolis. And then just hearing teammates talk about him. Like, Jeff Sims has conquered one thing as a quarterback. He has grabbed the locker room. I mean, I would not be surprised if Jeff Sims is, I don't know what they're going to do with captains, if they're going to have week by week or whatever, but Jeff Sims probably will be one of their captains, because he commanded the locker room right away. Not, hey, I'm here, I'm the chosen one.
Right.
But he's done a really good job of that. Terry writes in to the Equitable Bank inbox. I was impressed with the physique of Gabe Ervin. He looked yoked. I like to use the word cock diesel.
You do, yeah.
Only
my older brother was the only other person I've ever heard in my life to use that.
I think or a walking Coke machine.
Yeah.
That's how I describe offensive linemen, as a walking Coke
or
machine.
Or Monty Cross.
You could send him first off the bus and not be ashamed. I think
let's not bring up the bus stuff, guys.
Avery Gilbert would probably be first off the bus. Yeah. Now, will he be driving the bus?
Well, that would be
like, okay, so here's a question. No,
so he did get eligibility, so he's the bus driver.
There's a fair question here. we do this. We guys that make the all bus team, like Damian Jackson. And we're like, that guy. That guy should walk off the bus first.
Yep.
Carrying the American flag.
Coming off the bus with the American
Uzi.
flag.
But no one ever said he also should be driving the bus.
Yeah.
They're like, no, just stand in the aisle. And then when the door opens, you're the first out and people go, oh, damn.
Yeah.
We need to get to the point where we talk about the first guy off the bus is also on the list of guys that are actually driving the bus. And Gilbert, Ervin could be that guy, especially if he comes to fruition. But Gilbert could be that guy if he lives up to the potential that we have seen glimpses of. You could have the guy that should be first off the bus is actually the guy driving the bus.
Hey, there's a
because
goal.
Usually that happens. Like when you're on a bus and the driver pulls up and he puts it in park and he gets off first.
Yep.
Because he's got to go, unlock the lower
the
base.
cargo.
Yeah. That's when Nebraska has made it back, is the guy that should be the first off the bus is actually the guy that should be driving it.
I thought this was thought you're getting into if Arik Gilbert is not eligible, he could at least drive the bus. And then he could still
useful.
He could still get off the bus. So you have a little bit of that intimidation there, not realizing that he unfortunately cannot play today because the NCAA is not allowing him to. But it's a good analogy. It's good. It's a symbolic gesture. Sure. Of the guys that actually there's a little bit more than just their physique, because I mean that in all seriousness, that's very true though. This whole, they look the part until you actually hear the whistle blow. And then it's like, just hang in there. They're going to do their thing. Guys that are actually not only physically looking the part, but then they execute the part on the field.
By the way, if Gilbert is not eligible, he will stay and they will get him ready for the NFL draft.
So he could drive the bus.
But he needs to drive the bus in the stadium. Yeah. It's like, look at this. This is a good analogy. Remember Chris Farley in Billy Madison, which Chris Farley does not get enough credit for that character of being the bus driver in Billy Madison. He was not going to be the first off the bus, but he was driving the bus.
Would you say Veronica Vaughn would be the first off the bus?
So hot.
That would be a solid one.
Mm-hmm. I think it could be a good choice. You're right about his role in that one too. Just that scene alone. Between that and then no, not me, but a friend of mine.
Yeah, it was a brief moment in Billy Madison. But Chris Farley, that should go under the category of some of his best characters. I mean, he maybe had 7-8 lines.
Yeah.
Airheads, he had a great, improvising.
That's true. Yeah. Sometimes less is more. And again, as we continue to tie this back to Nebraska football, even if you look the part, yet your role is not a very large one. You're not the lead. You're not even the fourth person on the credits list. Maybe you have a role in special teams.
You get an "and" in the credits.
Your presence, even with a smaller role, you look the part, you still play your part. Gosh, it's almost like too perfect as far as the symbolic nature of Nebraska football right now when it comes to a bus and people getting off the bus and how they look.
You can be like Farley, who's a huffing, puffing rage machine in that character.
That brings it.
So a little bit of the story behind that, how he prepared for that character. like a ridiculous amount of espresso on the day they shot the scene. That's what he pounded, not drugs.
I'm
That's
glad
what
it
he
wasn't.
pounded
Yeah,
that was
before
later.
he went and filmed that scene. And so he pulled it off.
Well,
that was
the beet red face
I
and the
will turn
vein
this
coming
bus
up.
around.
Damn bus driver drives like an animal, huh?
Man, rest in peace. There was
I know.
the trademark of wackiness from Chris Farley.
I still, to this day, wonder what types of just comical masterpieces would we have seen if Chris Farley was still around, especially pairing up with some of the guys now too. Yeah, it'd be good.
Well, I would love to see how, and I think I've seen almost everything of Chris Farley. There have got to be Saturday Night Live outtakes of like table reads or stuff leading up to some of the best skits that he was ever involved
Like when
in.
he was the Gap Girls. Still to this day, and
He's a Chippendale.
Yeah,
with
Patrick
Swayze.
Swayze. You can't keep a straight face.
To me, might be one of the best ones ever. Two people that we lost way too early, and Patrick Swayze as well. But that, if it's not top 5 of all time SNL moments, it's got to be in your top 10.
The Zagat's deal with Adam Sandler.
Yeah. Well, and that was the thing.
Can't keep a straight
so
face.
it was always Jimmy Fallon could never keep a straight face around Will Ferrell. It was Adam Sandler that could never keep a straight face around Chris Farley.
And he's trying. So neither could Spade when he
Yeah.
said Foley.
Or
Right.
somebody else who was a comedic genius, Phil Hartman.
Yep.
Yes.
So in that scene, so David Spade and Christine Applegate, you can tell they had to look away.
Yeah.
Like Spade just stops,
Yeah.
and late in that skit, he's just laughing. Okay, and he's trying to hide it. But Phil Hartman, who,
And he'd been around. Phil
Yeah.
Hartman's been around.
there's about 3 minutes into that sketch after they introduce Chris Farley and he comes up from the basement that he does something like one of his mannerisms where he's shuffling side to side, and you see Phil Hartman like start to smile, and he does that. I'll drop my head into my shoulder.
That's when you know, especially the seasoned veterans like Phil Hartman, when you could still get them out of character, that's when you knew you had an absolute comical stud. Chris Farley was.
And that makes you laugh harder watching
well,
it.
it does.
You're like,
It does, because it's natural, because we all would have been doing the same thing.
We got to get to Vers. We'll do that next on Mornings with Sharp and Handley on 1620 The Zone.
Gary Sharp, Nick Handley, and Jimmy Chavez. Mornings with Sharp and Handley. Weekdays 6 to 10 on 1620 The Zone and 1620thezone.com. Mornings on 1620 The Zone is brought to you by MD West One Orthopedics, Neurosurgery, and Spine. Previously on Unsportsmanlike Conduct.
The takeaway here is everything they did is worked. And it's worked to the point that the attendance is up 8%.
That is bonkers. So, I mean, it's showing itself in every facet of baseball.
It's working.
Working on the field. It's working in attendance. I'm guessing, I'm not a TV ratings guy, but I'm guessing the postseason is going to have an uptick in viewership.
Unsportsmanlike Conduct with John Bishop and Josh Peterson. Weekdays 2 to 6 on 1620 The Zone. Your Omaha area forecast from the Godfather's Pizza Weather Center and KETV News Watch 7 on 1620 The Zone.
More fog this morning, giving way to mostly cloudy skies for your Friday. Staying humid, a high of 82, but feeling like the mid and upper 80s. 40% chance for pop-up showers and thunderstorms as we head throughout your Friday afternoon. And again tonight, up to 50% chance for storms. A low risk for strong to severe storms, with our main threats being gusty winds and large hail. Low tonight of 70 degrees. I'm meteorologist Caitlin Harvey with KETV News Watch 7.
Did you know that radon is the #1 cause of lung cancer for non-smokers and that our region has some of the highest levels in the country? Radon Defense Midwest can test and fix your home. Visit radonradio.com for an exclusive offer for 1620 The Zone listeners. That's radonradio.com.
Omaha Mavericks single game tickets are on sale now for volleyball and soccer. The volleyball team takes on Iowa State, Kansas, and Creighton, and the soccer team plays Creighton, Oklahoma, UC Irvine, and Oral Roberts. Be a part of the action and get your tickets today by calling the box office at 402-554-MAVS or by going to omavs.com/tickets. Season tickets are also still available. The seat you purchase today will be better than the seat you can buy tomorrow. Get your tickets now and go Mavs.
Happy birthday to us. That's right. We're turning 50 this year, and we're celebrating with you. Introducing my new birthday cake streusel, topped with vanilla cake and crunchy streusel, a swirl of white icing, and showered with rainbow sprinkles. Paired with our classic combo, the one that started it all, and your favorite one-topping pizza. Happy birthday feast. Enjoy one today. Godfather's Pizza. Do it.
Gain presents a tale of longing and long-lasting scent. Dear love of my life, we were on the 12B bus when I caught a whiff. A scent so fresh, so life-changing, I had to find its source. I didn't know if you were the woman in the pink freshly washed cardigan or the retired mailman next to me, but I knew one of you was my soulmate. Ah, the scent of Gain Flings. Add Gain scent beads for an even longer lasting scent.
Equitable Bank. We take banking personally. EquitableOnline.com.
And we're back. Mornings with Sharp and Handley. Here's Gary, Nick, and Jimmy on 1620 The Zone.
All right, Matt Verzal is a discussion point from the opening segment of the morning of why skill guys gain weight when they end football. Offensive linemen lose a lot of weight, like our friend Matt Verzal. Do you have a reason behind that?
The skills, I think they, like at the time, you don't realize how much you were doing, like activity-wise, or how physically freakish you were. And then the lineman, inevitably, one to all of us has had to go. And when you're in the arena, as they say,
yes,
everybody's like, oh, look at that big, massive humanity. And then when you get out of the arena, they're like, oh, look at that fat ass walking around over there. And they all give you that discerning look and that sympathetic, like, oh, if you don't get your ass together, you're going to die soon. And so a lot of them kind of go that way, and a lot of them don't care. And they're just like, yeah, this is what I am. This is what I'm going to be. So deal with it.
Now, Vert, so the especially offensive linemen, because we were talking about Joe Thomas earlier, but seen it a lot. How much of it is just like what you guys basically out of necessity after you work out, you have to eat. And then when maybe there's not those same types of, whether you're pulling 2-a-day type workouts or the workouts to that extent, that maybe the appetite isn't there as much. I'm assuming there's not as much calorie consumption as there was when you're playing, right?
Well, if you look at the evolution of it, right? Like Joe Thomas should be the standard for what everybody looks at, right? But he's a 1% of 1% of 1%. Like that, him walking around as just a normal human being, like he looks awesome. Like looks super physically fit. But for him now, think about that. On purpose, he added 70 pounds.
Yep.
Maybe 80, maybe more, and was still able to block people in a manner that you probably can't replicate. So he basically was like, listen, I could be this weight and I can do this, but I'm going to throw on 70 more and still embarrass you.
Mm-hmm.
So that's the kind of deal. A lot of things that people understand in weight loss is that you consume probably just as many calories to an extent. And everybody's different. You know, Thomas was probably a luxury guy where he got to eat a bunch and it didn't always have to be super clean.
Yeah.
You know, guys like Aaron Taylor, he walks by and he smells a pizza, he'll gain, like me, you know, we'll gain a couple pounds. We just smell it. We don't even consume it. So anyway, he probably just had to restructure that, super high in protein. He's probably able to do whatever. I mean, that guy's a freak show.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's, you'll back down your caloric number, but then he just got to do it right. You know, some of us had to do it for health. He just got to do it because he had to.
Yeah. I remember in the spring, and it just coincided when you came on, we were talking about the portal, and we were talking about one of your former players in Barrett Liebentritt, and you were like playing very, very coy with me because you knew that he was transferring to Nebraska. I thought of you yesterday because his name came up. Man, it sounds like he's going to play. There's going to at least be a role for him when they use the fullback. Are you feeling the same thing? Are you hearing the same thing?
I've thought I haven't. When I get to see Barrett, and he stopped in with Jakey Dennis and Jaden the other day, a couple other former players, so it was good to catch up with them. And I don't ask him about it because his brain is too big and he will outwit me. He's literally going against an unarmed man. So here's what I told him from the start. I said, if Nebraska has a brain in their head, okay, they are going to, and this was when Frost was the coach, I said, they're going to bring you in because they need you. And you can ask his mom and his dad, and they all looked at me like I was crazy, and him. I said, you're going to get in there. I said, because they need physicality. Didn't work out. He went to Notre Dame, played in 13 games at Notre Dame. You know, the stars align now, and Nebraska realizes they need a fullback. They bring him back. Played there because he's smart and he's tough and he just gets it. He's a team guy. Like even guys that have coached him in the past, we'll get together. We've talked about it, not even at Scott, just that like when he was little. Like, yeah, he's just had it from day one. So I mean, I've told him, I'm like, he's going to get there. Eventually, he's going to start. And like, and you can, I'll tell you what they'll do. They're going to put him in at that and at fullback, H-back, whatever. They're going to use him to slam into people, defensive ends, linebackers, which he will gladly accept. He is about that life. And then down by the goal line, they're going to get in some kind of formation. They're going to motion him around, and then he's going to intentionally miss the defensive end. They're going to ball fake. He's going to be standing in the end zone by himself. And the old part of Barrett is he has excellent hands. Like if you get it in his radius, he is catching it. So it's going to be fun to see. And then I, of course, get to utter the phrase that I love to utter is that I was right. Go ahead and tell me I'm right. And away we go. But he's a discussion of hard work. And it didn't work out initially. He just wanted to be at Nebraska. The powers that be didn't want him at the time. Now they want him. He works hard in school. He works hard on the football field. He works hard with people. I mean, he's just a good kid.
Does, and again, I know the offense is a little bit different over a 5-year span, but does a player like Liebentritt, does he get a similar opportunity in the old systems that we've seen?
I think so because he could help them change a mindset, right? Nobody's going to take a blocker and say, hey, we don't need you.
Yeah.
Like, nobody's going to say, you could put him in the slot and you could motion him across. You can use the creativity of the offense to get him in advantageous situations and angles to block. That's what the big brain OCs want to tell you, right? I use formation and motion to gain an advantage. That's neat, but eventually you got to have an ass kicker, and you ain't got none. Well, they didn't have any. Yeah. Now they got a couple, but you didn't have an ass kicker to execute said block, so it really does not matter how neat or cute your motions and your formations are.
Yeah.
Hey, I want to read you something. This is the first time that I've heard in a discussion about inside and outside zone running. A running back coach explained this. I want your reaction. E.J. Barthel yesterday was talking about the zone run because it came up about Anthony Grant and why he struggled with running inside. So this is what Barthel said. He said the zone run, and this is the first time I've ever heard this described, an expensive run. You really have to work at it. It means you have to invest some time in teaching it because you may miss a read here or there, but eventually you'll get that read and gash the defense if the ball is going where it's supposed to be with the right timing. Have you ever heard that phrase that a zone run, inside zone in this case, is an expensive run?
I haven't ever heard it, but I mean, I would probably phrase it different. I guess in the end, it's just a different way to say we have to get as many reps as possible against a good defense so he can see this and see that they're just because he's going to miss this, and miss is a bad word. The inside zone is designed to succeed everywhere. Okay. Your looking or your vision is to see one person not doing their job. And it doesn't have to be one specific person. It can be the one person you happen to be looking at that time. If you get an over aggressive linebacker that wants to fly over the top, meaning he's going to pursue super hard in the direction of play. Guess what? As soon as my outside foot is available, I'm going to put that thing in the ground. I'm going to cut back. If that same linebacker wants to play real slow and he doesn't want to go there, then I'm just going to pound that thing to the front side and I'm going to get 4 or 5 yards. Take it back further. If I've got a defensive end on the back side of a play that's very lazy and he does not want to pursue, and then my linemen have now accomplished what they've wanted to accomplish, 2 double team blocks to the second level. They've got the down linemen secure. They've got the linebackers at second level secure. Now I can cut all the way back to where that lazy defensive lineman was. But to do this, you have to see it and you have to feel it. And you have to realize that as you're taking that handoff, you can't sprint to that handoff.
Yeah.
You got to go about 75% to that handoff. And then once you get to your third step, okay, so I'm going to go left and then I'm going to go right. And when that left one hits there, I've got to know where I'm going. I'm taking the 5 yards they're going to give me. I'm cutting back against an over-aggressive linebacker, or I'm cutting back against a lazy defensive end. So that's how quick it has to come. So the muscle memory and the vision of it is just accomplished by copious amounts of repetition and practice.
From an instinct standpoint too, because you've seen this obviously. It sometimes feels like running backs, even without maybe the amount of like college reps, they just sort of have that instinct. They have that ability, that vision, where they kind of get that between just sort of having it and the amount of reps. Is there such thing, I guess, maybe is just you have it. I mean, no matter how many reps you have, you're just blessed with that type of vision.
Yeah, that's pretty awesome too. And it's a combination of vision and patience.
Yeah.
Where you have to let things develop. Like you have to, it isn't going to instantly at the snap of the ball, boom, there it is. You've got to let things develop. And it's, if you go back and watch like guys that were really, really good at running inside zone at all colleges, that first step is almost an exaggerated, like mid slow motion step where they're already looking. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And it's a cool, you can determine, you can actually, if you really want to get in this, break a lot of this down and make your read. If you're not very good, people can struggle with the read. The natural ones that they get are awesome. But if you want to watch film on a linebacker and you're a running back, just watch how they flow. Is he a fast flow guy? As soon as the ball snaps and the quarterback opens up to the right, is that guy gone? Great. I got to be aware of cutback.
Mm-hmm.
Does that guy stick pretty steady in his gap? Is he a gap control guy? When we snap the ball, the quarterback opens up to the direction of the play we want to run. Does he just squat there? Because now I'm looking at having to just stay on the front side. Mm-hmm. So now I can go have a discussion with my lineman and say, hey, fellas, this guy will fly over the top. This guy will stay gap sound, meaning he's going to keep gap control. We got to really be good on the double team when we're running at this guy and then go blah, 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 blah. So you can really get into, but you got to dive into film and you got to dive into those kind of things and you can see it. Everybody's got to tell. There's a reason poker exists. Nobody wins one poker match. Like there's one poker winner that wins them all. Same way with football. Everybody's got tells. Defensive linemen have tells. Safeties have tells. Corners have tells. Quarterbacks have tells. Linemen have tells. Watch the film, find the tells. You make the game easier for yourself.
Mm-hmm. Hey, I always appreciate the conversation. The off season is over. You guys will be back on the field on Monday, getting Scott ready. And I'm gonna say this. You already know this. You got some stuff to work with on the offensive line that's coming back. You have a center who I think should be all state in Class B by the end of the year.
Yeah, Wiz is good. I it's Witkowski is his name, but I call him Wiz. So he's good, and he's a good kid. He plays hard. He hasn't made a lot of friends that we've played along the way. I'm fine with that. But put in a lot of work, put in a lot of effort. We're looking forward to having him. He's picking up on his leadership stuff, which is nice to see. And just looking forward to the season, and you get to strap him on and see what happens.
Yeah. All right. Hey, my friend, have a good weekend. Thank you.
Bye, boys. Be good.
That's Matt Verzal. For everybody that is not playing week 0 in this state, high school football practice begins on Monday. sure. Papillion La Vista, Coach Williams over there, don't they usually practice at midnight?
There
Like
was,
at
yeah,
12:01,
there was
they'll
always
be
a
out there
midnight or,
practicing?
yeah, super early one.
So those young kids are awake at that time.
Well, usually everyone's doing at least an early one, but yeah, that sounds right. Where they're doing like kind of a
Madness.
midnight one.
Oh,
That's
I
kind of
hope
kind of
I
cool.
hope the mountain lion doesn't show up at practice.
12:01.
Or lions.
I think that'd just be kind of badass if it did.
You know, mountain lions just sleep a lot. They have a lot of sex and they sleep a lot. They're
It's
not
good
really
work
like,
if you can get it.
they're
It's
like
'cause they're-
super
It's
threatening.
because they're having sex the right way.
But they sleep maybe like 18 hours a day. So those
What
6
a life.
hours that they're out, they're all over Omaha.
Yeah.
Now we're getting a little crazy. Like people are anything that moves, they're
Yeah,
just
it's a mountain
reporting
lion.
it to the police as
Yeah.
the mountain lion.
Pretty
And
sure I
it's a
saw a mountain
squirrel.
lion. No, that was just a fat cat.
There were a lot of letters in the Public Pulse in the paper were people worried about Omaha and shooting the mountain lion. That they should not shoot the mountain lion. They should corral it for the authorities. I'm like,
Oh, come here.
That sounds like a bright idea.
Stay there, kitty.
I'm just going to
How
add
was your
again.
form tackling?
Fight
there?
or flight. If a mountain lion is bearing down on you, I'm doing whatever I can to survive. Now, as I said the other day,
Yeah, he's
I'm
sitting
not-
on the couch watching TV with us.
I'm
nice
not,
guy.
I'm not usually carrying, so I probably wouldn't have that option. But yeah, this whole like, oh, here's what you're supposed to do. I just laugh at that because am I really thinking of that when my life is flashing before my eyes as a mountain lion is bearing
Gonna
down
get
on
in
me?
trouble. Can't do this.
Right.
What if you have a bunch of vigilantes in Omaha go out to
Oh,
Papillion
no.
tonight and they're looking for the mountain lion?
It's dangerous, man.
Because the last spotting was in a neighborhood in Papillion.
Yeah.
Becomes a purge night on mountain lions,
You've
not
been-
on
you've been
humans.
dark today.
Humans can be the most dangerous game, you know.
We got
Is-
singing on the way to
Hey,
work, and we have dark.
Is the mountain lion the second most popular person in Omaha behind Bud Crawford? This
I
week?
think so.
Yeah.
Everybody's-
Will the mountain lion be a part of the parade?
Everybody
Grand Marshal,
in a cage,
Yeah, no, we'll have them trained.
Bud in the car,
just
next
on
to
its
Mountain
own.
Lion.
It makes its way downtown.
Yeah, just flowing with the crowd.
Mountain Lion just driving the car. With
Yeah,
Bud.
mountain lions probably have a bad rap. I mean, who knows? Maybe he's just here for the fun. He just wants to be a part of the community. Is that so bad?
What
Heard
if it's
about
a
the shot
person dressed in a mountain lion costume?
Maybe. See, maybe it is. Now there've been like 4 sightings in the last 2 days, so everybody's just up in arms about this.
I don't
thing.
know.
It's probably
like,
the same
like-
guy.
Like people think they saw the mountain lion and then they call the police. And I'm sure the 911 operators are like,
Yeah, they're like,
okay. Well, the person before called, they said they
Sure.
saw it in Papillion, so I don't think it could make it out to 156th and F that quickly.
they do run at a high rate of speed at 50
Mountain
miles an
lions
hour. What'd you
listening
say?
to
They
its loud
can max
music,
out at
50 miles.
50 miles
It's
an
a
hour.
good speed. You
If-
either recruit speed or you chase it.
Depending on how the endurance is or their cardio. So they'd probably have to cover a lot of that ground without it taking any type of break whatsoever. It's possible. They could do it. Just don't know what their Fitbit's showing them, but
How many steps the mountain lion has in a day?
you're right.
I just
Let's
saw a poll here. People are not afraid of the mountain lion. Then there was another poll that
Mm.
said, do you believe that there is a mountain lion? Well, I think these people's Ring doorbell cameras have shown that just in the middle of the street, in the middle of the
right.
night,
Yeah.
there is a large cat that is
Mhm.
walking down
I don't
the thing.
know what
Looking
I'd
for
do
someplace
if
that's
I
open
was
to eat.
pulling out of my driveway and all of a sudden I just saw it strutting down the
Oh,
sidewalk.
kitty.
Yeah, exactly. You
Hey,
guys
little-
want to
hey, little buddy.
Hey, you'd hit the gas.
put him in the hatch? All of a sudden we got a hangover Mike Tyson's tiger incident going
Put
on.
him in the lounge in there.
I got to
Door
push. I got to
closed.
put my car in neutral and just push it forward with the mountain lion in there.
We have a mountain lion expert that has dropped into the Equitable Bank inbox.
Excellent.
Oh, good morning.
Excellent.
This
All
is
right.
from Ted. He said, not sure if you remember or not, but there was a time that we had a mountain lion that was captured and killed in Omaha, and
by a daycare.
he may be in Papillion because he's following the big Papillion Creek like that mountain lion did.
Oh,
Oh, he's looking for his friend.
wasn't there one shot by a daycare?
Like the
On-
kids
like
shot
a-
it.
No, but it was. I want to say like 120th between like.
Hey, those kids can be vicious.
After
L
the
and Q?
5-year-olds tackled Derrick Henry, they go and kill a
Yeah.
mountain lion.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it was over by a daycare, like in the 120th area, and they had to shoot it. And I don't know.
That is
I,
not making good
Were the
choices.
kids staring in the
I
window or they
think
were
there-
hunkered down?
I think there were kids that may have seen this. They maybe didn't see it like it wasn't like it was right up the window that they were looking out, and then all of a sudden, there was spaghetti. But yeah, I think they saw what was
Poor
going
puppy.
down. Yeah. Oh, he's a cute kid. Oh, why did
was
that
cute.
happen? Yeah, it was by a between a business and I thought a daycare.
I know that I've heard tips of like if you see it, don't run. Because mountain lions, no, because mountain lions typically flee people. But like animals like that, when you start to run,
they get angsty.
They trigger an instinct to chase.
Yeah, it's a game.
Oh.
I like this game.
And people said I couldn't work at the zoo.
Do you trust yourself not to run? Do you think you would be steady, Eddie, calm? And
No, well, I've learned. I've read books.
I know, but when it
many
comes down to
leather-bound books is you do not make yourself appear threatening.
But what is threatening to them? That's where because if I just naturally panic, I don't know.
If I was coming, I'm all honesty here. If I'm coming face to face with a mountain lion, we're making eye contact.
Then what do? Do you try to get him to tilt his head?
I would speak loudly and firmly.
Leave now.
Not today.
It's going to be you or me. Ain't going to be me.
There's only one mountain lion around here. There should be two because one's going to have to take you to the funeral home. I would go all Jack Reacher on the mountain lion.
So you're just going to basically talk trash. You're going to demoralize the mountain lion.
No, you're not supposed to run because then they think it triggers an instinct to chase.
I get that, but my natural instinct, if I saw anything that could harm me, would be to run. So I get it in theory. You shouldn't do it, but I don't trust myself not to just go completely bonkers.
Hello, buddy. Welcome to Omaha.
Well, so here's the thing. It violates my space. I'm not out approaching it. But if it comes into my space, then we got to have some speaks. But I'm going to speak loudly, firmly, and I'm going to stare it in the eye.
Very assertive. Okay.
Yeah, I will. As long as I don't appear threatening, maybe the mountain lion will lay down and want its belly.
That's what okay, so if you really conquer that, would you go as far as petting said mountain lion? Maybe giving a belly rub?
I would pull out my phone first. Take a picture.
Selfie.
What if that triggers it? Take that cell phone. All of a sudden, your cell phone gets smacked out of your hand. You don't know who did it. And you realize the mountain lion did it. Now he's snarling right at your face. And you're like, that was a bad idea.
Summer of Sharp. Livy done in June. Mountain lion in August.
Taming the mountain lion.
Slaying the cougars. TC writes, how do you know that this mountain lion is not related to the bear in China or that man that is dressed as a dog?
Oh, that's very true. I mean, we don't know. This could be a thing.
This appears to be real. I think
it looked real.
People should react accordingly when they see the mountain lion.
I didn't see pleats in the pants on the mountain lion like we did with the bear.
Oh, whoa. We have a mountain lion update?
No.
Or a wildcat update?
Yeah, wow. Good morning to the mountain lions listening on the earbuds. No, Brett Murphy just tweeted
hold
the
on,
emoji.
Jimmy. Be better. When you do like a lion roar, did you just go meow?
Row.
Row. He just went row.
Wow. Did you say something, Sugar? No, Brett McMurphy on the X machine tweeted 3 eye emojis. Not one, but 3.
3?
Can we stop that?
Does that mean
tuned.
3
Everybody
schools
does that.
are on the move? Not one eye, not 2 eye, but 3. That means for each eyeball, that's 1 school.
Here's what's going to happen is they'll come to some type of agreement with the Pac-12, but why would you sign their grant of rights? If you're
Bears are finalizing a deal with Mercedes Lewis, 18th season.
Yeah, we got to stop with the eye emoji because now it's overused.
Mm-hmm.
Musk, you got to do something about this.
You can now repost. For all of you Droid users, by the way, like myself, by the way, solidarity, brother. You probably noticed on your screen now, we're all officially X on Twitter.
It's going to give it to you.
It's all X. It's actually the icon now is completely changed on your phone, on your app. So we are fully integrated into an X Twitter community.
You're now part of the conversation.
Mm-hmm. It just took us a while.
iPhone went first. Shock. So Creighton's game in the Bahamas today will be streamed. Omaha's game at 8:00 tonight against the Gracia All-Stars.
Well, they're good.
What's the average age?
Nobody under the age of 24 playing against Omaha tonight.
Under the age of 24? Oh.
Yeah. It will be streamed on Facebook.
Okay.
I'm not sure. Let me hold on here.
You got a burner account, don't you?
It's on Basket 506. They are carrying the games in Costa Rica today.
Okay.
That happens to be where Omaha is.
You're going to tap into your Facebook account that you don't use?
Not a chance.
Jeff
Come
Van Gundy,
on.
Mark Jackson maybe on the call.
I still think secretly you are on Facebook.
I am not on Facebook.
You're like Daryl in The Office. Like, come on, man. People want to be friends with you on Facebook. You're on Facebook. Why do you keep telling people you're not on Facebook?
The only time I know I'm on Facebook is my birthday. By the way, if anybody
get a lot
follows
of
me on
happy birthdays?
Facebook, so the account was created the day I started here.
Yeah.
And so my anniversary is this weekend.
Yeah.
And so it's going to come up This is your birthday? Oh. So I'm going to get messages that this is my birthday. It is not my birthday.
Sharpie, a year flew by.
You're a November birthday, aren't you?
I'm a November birthday. Okay. So this is my Facebook birthday. And I'm telling you, we're going to have some speaks. If you send me a happy Facebook birthday, we're no longer going to be friends. I'm going to block you if I know how to block.
That's like
people on
someone
Facebook.
saying you got a case of the Mondays. I believe you get your ass kicked for saying something like that.
No, I don't want people
Happy
wishing
Facebook
me a
birthday.
half birthday.
Yeah,
I don't want
do
people
that
wishing me a, hey, how you going to celebrate? It's your anniversary of when you got on Twitter. You know how I'm going to celebrate? Hoping the thing stays alive.
Yeah.
For another day. And myself.
So when people like, you get the friend anniversary of, I've been friends with Jimmy on Facebook for 2 years, something like that. Cool.
Especially when
like,
someone you've known since kindergarten.
Well, do you guys remember
what am I supposed to do with this?
Like everybody, I would hope most people, men, let's do this better. We remember our anniversary.
Yeah.
Do you have a significant other that also remembers your first date or the first time that you became exclusive?
We had it all figured out.
So we do, my wife and I do something kind of quirky. It's our thing. The first date, which I can't believe she gave me another one. We actually watched Bears-Niners when the Niners were breaking in Levi Stadium. And she was being a Bears fan as well. We watched it at my friend's house. This, mind you, our first date was at my friend's apartment watching the game, eating Godfather's pizza and drinking Busch Light. So now on that
so
day,
Omaha.
Yep. Every year on that day.
Is it wrong to ask if you did it?
Oh, we did not.
Okay.
That's
Well,
fine.
you had the Godfather's pizza, and they do it.
Busch Light too.
Yeah.
So every
Good morning, names.
Every year we have Godfather's pizza and Busch Light on that day.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah.
That is really
It's
neat.
just a thing. Just a thing.
Okay.
It's something that at first I'm like, this is not going to go well.
Do you remember the date though?
It is September 14th.
Okay.
Damn.
And in our anniversary, we got married on September 24th, not in the same year.
Wow, that's quick.
I don't expedite things.
When
that
you know,
day.
you know.
Yeah.
Now I'm doing the math. Okay. We're back to close the show after this.
Mornings with Sharp and Handley on 1620 The Zone and 1620thezone.com with Gary Sharp and Nick Handley. Omaha's most listened to all sports radio station. Again and again and again. 1620 The Zone.
Motley Crue, Def Leppard, The World Tour, with special guest Alice Cooper, August 13th, Charles Schwab Field, Omaha. Tickets on sale now. Get access to preferred seating with your Citi card. Get tickets at Ticketmaster.com. Motley Crue, Def Leppard, The World Tour.
Hey, Connor.
What's up?
So, you're getting an Auto Express Lane certificate in less than a year?
I need to put my career in the fast lane.
And Jenny, in just 5 months, you earned a veterinary assistant certificate?
It's kind of a pet project.
JC, is that
blood? Yeah, I'll be certified as a phlebotomy tech in just 5 months.
A positive, JC? Earn a career certificate in less than a year. Get started at mccneb.edu/adults. Classes start September 5th.
This is me at MCC.
Hi, this is Doug Nodgard with Equitable Bank. Great service never goes out of style. When the digital age dawned, many said computers would be able to handle many of the interactions that used to take a person. Boy, were they wrong. How many times have you called your bank and gotten a recording to press 1 or 2? Not at Equitable. Not only does Equitable answer your call on the first ring, it's answered by a human being. That's because Equitable Bank values its customers. Equitable Bank, we take banking personally. Member FDIC.
Don't miss the Vallis 39-hour flash sale celebrating their 39-year anniversary. Thursday at 7 a.m. through Friday at 10 p.m. Friday through Sunday tickets are $32.99 and season passes are $69.99 per person. With more than 50 attractions included with admission, Vallis Pumpkin Patch and Apple Orchard has something fun for all ages. Visit VallisPumpkinPatch.com to cash in on the savings during their 39-hour anniversary flash sale.
0.05 seconds to form an opinion about a website. If you're unsure that your website meets today's standards, go to jmonline.com and book a call with an expert today. At JM Online, we redesigned our own website last year, a project that has already delivered us a positive ROI. From advanced micro interactions to a beautiful mobile design, check out what we're capable of at jmonline.com.
Do you like to drink? Head to Wine, Beer, and Spirits. It's not just big, it's huge. Our 30,000 square foot flagship store south of 144th and Center has the largest selection and best prices in town. Drink while you shop. Yes, drink while you shop. Taste bourbons, craft beers, or fine tequilas at rock bottom prices from the in-store bar. Or enjoy the sun on downtown's largest patio at the new Old Market location on 11th and Jones. Wine, Beer, and Spirits is Nebraska's largest locally owned liquor store. Find out more about upcoming events at winebeerandspirits.com. Please drink responsibly.
1620 The Zone. And we're back. Mornings with Sharp and Handley. Here's Gary, Nick, and Jimmy on 1620 The Zone.
All right, a final tweet. Pete Thamel. Pete tweet.
How many eyeballs?
No eyeballs.
Oh, okay.
Sources indicating to me and Heather Dinich that the Pac-12 is unlikely to land the plane this morning and get its media rights deal signed on this call today. Multiple variables at play here, including 11th hour Big Ten push for Oregon, Washington. Everything remains fluid.
Weird. They couldn't land the plane on the media deal.
So through all of this, Notre Dame.
Hi, Notre Dame.
A war of college conferences is happening, and Notre Dame is like Poland in 1938 and Switzerland in both world wars. They'll remain neutral.
They're just looking back and forth. And maybe everyone's venting to Notre Dame. They're just saying, I hear you.
Or just shock everyone and join the Mountain West.
We can't quit Notre Dame.
Nope.
But Notre Dame's in a good spot.
Yeah.
All right. Whatever chaos is going to happen over the weekend, we will talk about it on Monday when we rejoin you and a step closer to the start of the football season.
Football.
Yep. Don't forget, Big Ten Network is live in Lincoln today.
Yep.
At 3:00.
Who could forget this Nebraska Classic that's currently on?
Michigan State, Notre Dame.
Yeah.
God, those Michigan State uniforms, because this is 09, I think.
Yeah.
Those uniforms with the white shoulders.
Yeah, looks like they're wearing sleeveless jerseys.
2010. Oh, awful.
Those are terrible.
That's the Little Giants play.
Remember the time in baseball when wearing sleeveless jerseys were cool? Well, apparently there was a push to go sleeveless jerseys in football. This was Michigan State's way of trying to do so.
Yeah. All right. Have a great weekend, everybody. Make some memories. Jimmy and Josh, they're going to combo the middays today. That's coming up next on 1620 The Zone.
The cigar enthusiasts at Hearth Cigars and Pipes are a pretty diverse bunch of humans.